And we're live from the Good News radio station. I'm PD Camarillo.
Kenneth Frank James Barry.
And as you know, or as you've come to know, this is Touchdowns and Tangents, your weekly spot for NFL takes, topical tangents, and commentary for the culture.
Wait, did you just say You didn't say tangents, right?
Yeah, I don't know. My
You
voice
said
cracked.
tangents.
My voice cracked in the intro and everything. I'm all over the
Worse
place.
than Lupita and Us. Like, that was gross. I haven't even seen it.
Wow, real vulture over here, huh?
I haven't even
You didn't
seen
even
it.
watch it. You
But
over
I
here
saw-
making references
I
to
saw where she sounded like the black dude from The Longest Yard when he says, "Can you teach me to football?"
it.
That's what it sounded like she said, but it sounded like she was eating some hot ass pizza and it hit the roof of her mouth. It was like they literally yo.
Are they playing Us at that dollar movie theater by your house?
No, I stuck Gardena Cinema playing Captain Marvel, which I gotta go see on Monday.
I actually saw it last week. You're not missing much. It's definitely a setup movie.
I know it's Captain Marvel. Come on. Damn.
Really?
So is that like a thing in the black community where like half of us think Us was trash and the other half think it was great?
You want to talk into the mic?
Did you just say that unofficially off the air?
You-
You want to put your name on it? Are y'all serious?
Go ahead, grab
Mic
it.
right here.
The movie is great.
I gotta go see it. Honestly, Get Out was great, and honestly, I feel like the premise for Us, it just looks like black people are our own worst enemies because we have a constant duality inside of us.
Wow, way to steal the whole theme of the movie without seeing
maybe because
it.
I'm really good and inquisitive and I can understand a trailer. I'm sorry that I have eyes and I can see and hear.
Or maybe you're just projecting your own tragic flaws.
Like all black people are.
I mean, it's decent. Like,
Wait. First of all, introduce yourself. Who are you?
hi
First time.
guys, my name is Servan, but they call me Serv.
And why are you here, sir?
Serving
I'm
out L's.
here because I'm interested in podcasting, and these people are cool. They're pretty dope, so I'm chilling here, and I'm putting my 2 cents in when I can. So
And where are you from?
I am from the Bay, East Bay, particularly Oakland, particularly East Oakland. That's where it's at.
Pete, that's where you're supposed to hit a drop.
I don't know what the round of applause.
That's the only thing you do. This is why I need to be back on the boards.
But yeah, Serv's gonna be helping us out with some of our social media and some back end stuff. So shout out to her. Thank you as always for giving us your time.
Of course,
Happy to have you.
Of course, you guys are fun. So
Appreciate that. And she'll probably be chiming in. By the way, we agreed, I think off the air, we agreed that I am not a fuckboy and I won. I beat my case in fuckboy court.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
I
Before
did.
we get
I
back
did.
into this wormhole,
no.
I already told you I was going to swear on this.
before we get to the wormhole,
I proved my case.
in the chat, Ryan says, "I'm sorry. What? It was trash. Say it with your chest."
You can't even read, dog. You said I can't walk. I sprained my foot. You can't read.
Yeah. Well, pretty much. So she's saying for you.
I don't think it's trash. Or if he's talking about what Kenny said, yeah.
No. Ryan was talking about Us.
Us. Well, I don't think it's trash. I just don't think it's anything to rush and see. Like, it was good. It was decent. It was suspenseful. Was it scary? No. But it was actually, like, I feel like
is it a, to make a football analogy? It's the Nick Bosa to the Joey Bosa.
It's Aaron Campman compared to
It's-
like every
it's-
other Iowa.
It's
pass
like
rusher.
it's the hype of Get Out. Like everyone wanted it to be Get Out, but it's not.
yeah, definitely.
the energy's different.
Yeah, I mean, the acting is good. Like, it was good, but
I think it's just a different state of mind because
Yeah.
Get Out kind of came out of nowhere.
right.
Like,
That's what I was talking about with my friend. Like,
Yeah.
it was such a wow factor. Like, wow, he's talking about like,
and
you know,
nobody
some
knew
real
what it
shit,
was.
right.
Nobody knew what it was about. It was like you just went to see it. Like you didn't know what you were getting into. Like even social media was like, don't spoil it. Like don't talk about it. And you just kind of went there. And versus this, it was
Now
like
people are coming
there's
out
a
saying,
much more dramatic build up. Like all these extravagant trailers and like
people taking sides like Black Panther,
yeah, and everyone.
which by the way, Killmonger was the hero in that movie.
Okay, you like to literally mention that anytime Black
Yeah.
Panther comes up.
I almost put it on my sash.
Is it because he's from Oakland, or is it
Kenny Killmonger. Kenny Killmonger. And it's going on my cap though. It's going on my graduation cap. Best believe that. I got the energy this week. All right. Kenny Killmonger. Yep. There you go.
But yeah, man. On that note,
And not just because he's from East Oakland, but yes, that helps.
so should we get to the content? Because there's actually a lot of content this week.
Yeah, stop saying content. It sounds weird. It sounds gross. It's like when you say pot in too many times.
Anyways,
By the way, listen.
so this week in the NFL world is owners meeting weeks. What does that mean? It means
White dudes get together and play golf.
in Arizona and talk about the future of the league and rules and shit like that. Pretend like they're working. It's basically a way to get away from the wife and kids. And
It's like when your managers go on a retreat to Vegas and like when come back with a bunch of awards, but you don't get shit. Yeah, I'm glad that is.
that's why you should stay in school so you can be that person one day.
School's not for everybody. Let's not. I know people who never went to school who are more successful than me, and I'm like, damn, I should have sold dope too. I still can.
Yeah, man.
Now it's
And
legal.
once you subtract all those student loans, it's like I'm really not making much more than minimum wage.
I see a lot of these girls that I went to school with and they're strippers, and I'm just like, maybe. Just maybe. Maybe. I mean, it's 2019. And
Bartenders making more.
sex work is kind of cool now. It's like the new thing. So
The bartender stripper battle. It's already like a civil war in New York, but bartenders making more money. So I mean,
But
you
yeah,
gotta strip.
on that
You
note,
gotta look like you might.
they basically took a picture of all the NFL owners, and if you see the picture, I think Adam
And
Schefter
GMs.
tweeted it out, and the GMs, and it was literally like all white dudes.
Why do you
Mike
make
Tomlin
white-
wasn't even there, so there was literally one black coach, and it was Anthony Lynn. I don't even think Brian Flores was in the pick. But yeah, that's not news because as we know, sports, especially ownerships, especially decision makers, are predominantly white, despite the fact that their
White.
leagues are anywhere from 60 to 80% black. There's, I think, the most GMs there ever was 7 in the NBA, and that was like in the early 2000s, and it hasn't been higher than 3 since then, and that's the NBA, which is the more progressive league. With
And
the
they've had some
NFL, I think
really
there's only like 3 or 4 max,
every once in a while.
and right now there's only like 2.
The Dolphins GM and
Yeah, I actually coined a whole post on Medium about this. You can actually look it up at Pete Certified.
ding ding ding.
Because, some certain outlets I write for didn't want it. But it's all good,
So you dropped a mixtape for the
3,000 word think pieces about diversity in the NFL and NBA are not something necessarily every publication wants.
because of conflicts of interest.
Because of conflicts of interest and, I mean,
Image.
the masses don't necessarily like to talk about
It,
diversity. It's not
it
always a
doesn't sell the
convenient
soap.
topic.
It doesn't sell the soap.
Especially, once Black History Month is over, then
Oh.
there's less of an incentive for publishers to, try to get that traffic. But yeah, man, on that note, outside of the owners meeting, the biggest thing that came out of it was the new pass interference rule. So do you want to give the skinny on that, Kenny?
Pretty much.
Even though you ain't skinny.
Wow.
Like,
Like, do we need to go outside, bro?
Why are you
You're not skinny
sensitive?
either.
Why are you sensitive?
You're fat too.
He's
Like,
like, okay, thank you. Did I really hurt your feelings?
no, I'm just like that was unnecessary. It's like walking to a homeless
Use
person
your
saying,
words.
"Yeah, you're
Use your
poor."
words.
Oh, I am. I will. Like you have the audacity to say that.
You really just
You're literally.
you really
shaped-
just compared
like a-
me calling you fat to me someone calling you the N word.
No, I said home. I said imagine you're like you walked up to a homeless person and said, "Hi, you're poor." Like, well, damn, you're an asshole. And you're
Yeah,
laughing.
and then if you've ever been in that
Says the
situation,
guy who's
what
like,
would the homeless person say? I'm not. I chose this lifestyle and blah blah blah. Or I have
homo-
mental illness. I was a VA.
Are
Like
you- damn.
I have benefits. I have a GI Bill. There are bums out there like that too that will
Some-
go off on you and explain to you why they're not poor.
someone. I'm not gonna slander homeless culture, but like someone over here is problematic towards people who don't have a permanent address. That's all I'm saying. Damn.
Okay.
Damn. You got something else you want to get off your chest?
Yeah, man. You just trapped
Well,
me.
you've been attacked by
You
bums
really
in
just
the
trapped
valley.
me.
You're like,
Call you fat one time.
no, you said I'm not skinny, which was obvious. It's like saying you don't have a lot of money.
All
It's
right.
obvious.
All right. Can we get to the content? The
But
new
yeah.
rule.
So, pretty much, pass interference calls can be reviewed or challenged if it was or wasn't pass interference. And coaches can demand a review. Like, they have to review it and it can be overturned. So it's kind of just like, hey, Saints fans, we get it. Shut up already.
Which brings me to my question.
Eli Apple's still trash.
Which I
coverage.
posted on the Instagram stories. You can check it out, TDs_tangents, as well as the Twitter page, TDs_tangents.
Which is getting close to 1,000 followers.
Should this rule be named after Robbie Coleman? Or should it be named after Sean Payton since he was on the competition?
Nickel Roby Coleman?
Yeah, Nickel Roby Coleman. Or should it be named after Sean Payton, who was on the competition committee and basically bitching and spearheading this whole
and he pounded
movement.
the table?
Yeah, quote unquote. I hate that fucking analogy.
Hashtag foreshadowing. But all right. So, I mean, it's honestly just...
Pause?
Nah, because it's foreshadowing.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I said pound the table.
Yeah, okay.
You got it.
Yeah, no, I didn't, but we can talk about it off air.
You'll understand it in like 20
Yeah,
minutes.
okay, go ahead.
But whatever. So, pretty much, this actually used to be a rule way back in the day. They really just reverted back to changing it again. See, the NFL is like, it's like, remember that game Berserkle, the handheld game?
No.
Wow.
I don't even know what that is.
Wow. Where was your childhood? Did you do things as a kid? Did you like just...
No, I came out the womb working. And you know what I do now? Work.
Jesus, man. I'm sorry
Woo.
you had no imagination as a child. But, damn. Yeah, Berserkle was a dope game. But anyway. Okay, did you ever play Mancala?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Now, literally, the NFL, when it comes to rules or anything that's deemed progressive or like a liberal stance, they're pretty much just playing Mancala. Just move one bead to the next hole, and then you move it around in a circle, and it goes back around again. And eventually it overflows, and then everything spills out, and then they have to actually, take a tally and do something about it. But then eventually everything goes back to all the little circles and holes or whatever being empty again, and then it's
So
just one bead
basically
at a
what
time.
you're saying is they never move forward, they just give up the appearance
It's
of
a
them
conveyor
moving
belt.
forward.
It's a conveyor belt, and then it's a wall, and you think that wall's something else, but really, it's just another conveyor belt.
And I guess I kind of agree with you to an extent because
Some of y'all who know
like
what
this-
Berserkle is in Mancala,
I feel
I
like-
just dropped dimes.
I
You're
feel
welcome.
like this man calls that game that no one really knows how to play, but it just looks
If you know
so
how to-
easy.
it's
So
like
people
an African-
pretend they know how
It's
to
like
play.
an African game. I played it in daycare. Like it's a math-based thing. It's like if you had an abacus.
Yeah,
It was dope.
yeah.
I'm sorry. You had the
I had a
most
computer.
you had the most
I had a
you had the most
computer.
flavorless
I had a
childhood.
computer.
And you probably
I had
didn't even
video
play.
games.
Did you play pinball on it?
I had video games.
Did you play pinball on it?
Did you have a Sega?
Yeah, actually, I had a borrowed Sega from my cousin. But did you? I had my own Nintendo 64 though. I had that Nintendo 64 on deck. You don't want to see me.
Yo,
Mario
one of those
World.
little Pac-Man arcade games that plugs in the TV. That's not the same thing as an N64.
No, I had that.
Just because you put
I
an
had that
N64
10,000 games
logo
in
on
one.
it,
from
just
the
because you
swap
put
meet.
an N64 logo on it doesn't make it an N64.
First off, my mother would be offended to think that you think that she couldn't afford to get me a Nintendo 64.
I wasn't implying that.
You kind of just did. Mom, you said we was broke growing up. Were we broke growing
You
up?
just said you were broke right now.
I just said I'm broke right now. I'm adult broke, but I wasn't like broke child broke. Like I could only afford half of a peanut butter sandwich on one slice of bread that you had to cut in half broke.
Which
Not
we-
that type of broke.
So you just did that out of laziness and necessity. Not
No,
because
wow.
you didn't have another
Only-
piece of bread.
Only a serial killer. No, when you take the inbred, the ass
you
bread that
even,
nobody
you
wants.
even admitted it off air. You used to do that.
Yeah, but that's when it was like the good kind of struggle, and like when the ass bread, you put like peanut butter. They call it ass bread because it's the last
Can
bread.
you stop calling it the ass bread?
Because we all know it's the ass bread. No one wants that bread. I work at a deli. No one wants that bread on their
I
sandwich.
like that bread.
You're
would
crazy.
You would like ass bread. Okay, you're that kind
No
of person.
comment.
You're that guy. Okay.
No comment. Bro, I'm Mexican.
That's no. I'm not blaming Mexicans for your terrible.
Bro,
eating
I eat
habits.
cow stomach. Like,
Black
let's
people
talk
eat
about it.
chitlins. Let's talk about it.
okay. Hey, so you
Who-
eat
who ate
chitlins?
grocer shit?
You eat chitlins,
I never ate
but you
chitlins.
won't eat the
Let-
butt of a bread. Is that really what
No,
you're saying right
I
now?
have, but I'm saying I would
You're
never,
not proud of
I
it.
would never. Sometimes in my darkest moments in the dorms, Sometimes not. But no, like as a kid,
No,
that
the
shit was
worst
fire.
part is
In the summertime with no drink.
is when you have like from 2 loaves ago, like you already went through 2 full breads from there,
and it's the old one. It's broken
and
apart.
it just has the 2 butts, and you make a sandwich out of that because that's all the bread you got.
You gotta mash
That's
shit
when you
together.
know the struggle
You gotta roll
is
it
real.
into a ball, cut
That's
it in
when you-
half,
and it's like
so it looks like you tried.
the tops are. It's not even a square anymore. It's like a triangle
It's
because the
just
corners are missing.
Yeah, it's like, wow, this is my life. Is this a microcosm for things to come? Am I gonna be like this in 20 years?
Yeah, I don't.
But then
e-
you remember,
I
and you're
honestly-
like, damn, that was one of the best sandwiches I ever had on the road.
I honestly don't even know where we're at. Like, I really just got
I kinda
lost in
do.
this whole tangent.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say though is I feel like this new rule basically opens up a can of worms,
And Mancala, yes.
just because now you're essentially saying that all the plays are reviewable. One.
As they should have been. So it's
One.
kind of like baseball.
2, the controversy is still going to arise because what happens when NFL coaches use up their challenges?
Defensive
It's the
holding.
3rd quarter. There's neither side has challenges, and there's a questionable call, and it can't get reviewed.
Or an offsides that you totally missed, like in the Chargers game.
Or never
A
mind.
holding call.
Speaking of offside
happened.
calls, shout out to Courtside Rayo. Shout out to Mikhail, the point guard. Shout out to that team that plays in Missouri that stole the Seminoles chant.
And the Seminoles, by the way, the original Seminoles were black, by the way. So Florida State culture appropriates that because most Native Americans were actually African, but we don't talk about that because, you know. We're not talking about
Oh
racist
my
episode.
God, bro! We literally had this conversation.
They were
about how
Mexican
that's
and
factually
they-
incorrect,
Bro, the ones who came here, the Seminoles were black.
bro. Oh my
the
God!
Gullah Geechee people.
We had this whole talk
Okay,
already.
okay.
bro.
You don't know who the Gullah Geechee people are.
We
so-
already had this whole.
If
talk
you ever remember
already.
Gullah Island, that was a show based on The theme song was dope. We might have to play it.
Yeah, with that yellow.
Benji.
Yeah, that yellow dinosaur thing. What was
No,
it? A frog?
It was a frog.
Yeah.
I think it was a bullfrog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that shit was ugly.
First off, you're not gonna slander my childhood. All you have is Dora.
I actually liked that show.
Okay,
I actually liked Gullah Gullah Island. Doesn't that explain a lot about me?
it does. You were at the kick out. You were at the kickback before it became like a barbecue and a picnic, but you left. And
I
then
just
you came
didn't
back
like.
and no
I
one-
just didn't
no
like
one-
that it led into Gumby because I never.
That was
liked
trash.
Gumby.
That was trash.
I tried so hard to like Gumby.
We all tried to like Gumby.
Anyways,
Gumby tried to like
Is
Gumby.
Gumby like the that tall green thing?
Yeah, with
Yep.
the
That
with-
was
looks
the
like a
creepiest
broken
thing
toothbrush.
Ever.
With
That
the-
was Gumby was creepy to me.
yeah. How about in
I thought it was an
2014
app.
when everyone was trying to bring that cup back?
Yeah, no.
No, the Gumby cut still works if you're a black dude though.
Maybe
You gotta get an S curl, then you gotta
maybe if you're
you gotta do a
you're
bunch. You
in
gotta do
that
some
movie,
Odell shit.
maybe if you're in that
That's
movie,
like
dope.
Or
Nino
Tripping.
Brown. That's the Nino Brown cut.
yep,
Yeah,
that's the I'ma kill G Money cut.
But ultimately, besides that, I don't think it really solves anything. First of all,
Like the
Second
ending of
of
Lord of
all-
the Rings.
second of all, like, every call should be challengeable. Like, you can't just pick and choose this one. And lastly, shout out to T Big, shout out to the FBC Radio Squad, shout out to X Squad affiliates because I didn't say that earlier. But pass interference really shouldn't be a spot foul because it's not even a spot foul on defense. So it should just be 15 yards. I just want to throw that nugget in.
It's like about college football, like when they do the spot foul. I think about there was a meme of like the Miami Ohio State national title game where that bogus pass interference call on Mike Rumpf shouldn't have been called, and actually Santonio Holmes is the one who committed pass interference, but that's how Ohio State won the title because they got an extra down. But yeah, they're like, you're gonna reverse all that when Vince Young's knee was down and the replay broke. They should have stopped the game, but they didn't. That would have negated all their opening momentum, and they wouldn't have scored on that drive. But like, my point is, like with baseball's argument, the old-timey conservative viewpoint, you can't review everything because the game's already long enough. Well, the game's only long because of TV contracts. First off, 60 minutes is 60 minutes, but then when you throw in 30 minutes of advertisements and 30 minutes of lead-ins and lead-outs,
Yeah, I mean, Kind of.
and then packages within the game. Like
Kind
that's why
of.
the game's longer. It's
Nah, but it's not though.
but
really.
if you want the call right, then okay.
it's
you should
not
be able
really
to-
because even a high school game can go 2.5 hours.
exactly. But that's
So
legit
that's not
2.5
why.
hours because you're at a high school game. You watch an NFL game.
NFL game,
like,
an
why is this game
NFL,
like
an
4
NFL
hours?
game only has like one TV timeout, maybe.
It depends on what station
Maybe.
you're watching. If you're watching
Maybe.
If you're watching on like CBS or Fox, it depends. But my point is, if you want the call right, you should be able to review it. But where does it end? Because they're getting rid of the blind side to go with that. They're also getting rid of the blind side blocks.
Which are the
Crackbacks.
best things about football?
Honestly, you know how many dog, you know how many cats got scholarships off punt return knockout blocks?
That's the best thing.
Deshaun Jackson, that was one of the best things about his career.
Snipers.
They used to kill people on Cal's special teams unit. You just go back and watch the Tennessee game.
And that's
Oh my-
why he's had concussion issues.
That's not funny.
Because it's true.
Well, he hasn't. I mean, he
And
has.
Javid
but
Best.
He's tough. First off, you do not slander the great Bay Area legend that is Javid Best. Had he not had a freaking seizure after jumping 12 feet in the air, and then some asshole clipped his leg for no reason, and then he landed 10 feet straight down directly on his head, and damn near died. That was one of the most traumatizing things I've ever seen on a football field. When Javid Best got that high up in the air for that touchdown. Like, people thought Reggie Bush was athletic. No, Javid Best was different. Javid Best was next up. And then he got hurt, and then he went to Detroit. No, he would... Bro, go... Okay, now you're going to... He was a 30th overall pick for a reason. Javid Best was nice.
32 overall pick with
30th
concussion
overall.
issues.
30th overall.
With concussion issues. He would have went higher if he didn't have those.
Yeah, had he not, like, landed on his head one too many times.
But yeah.
Now he's a coach, I think. So good for him. But he's also having memory loss. So pray for Javid Best.
But yeah. I think the other thing I was...
Are you going
I
to call
was
holding
reading-
every play? That's my
Exactly,
question.
yeah. That's a
Which
whole
you
other
can.
can of worms. But I was reading an article from about the ref who recently retired, the dude who made the infamous tuck roll call.
Boo!
And he was pretty much talking about kind of what you're saying, where it's like, yeah, on one hand the referees do want to get everything right, and so they're in favor of the review, but at the same time, I mean, if you're just gonna go back or change it, then what are we really doing? You know, you're just, if it's not gonna be a long-term rule, then we're really just kind of being reactionary. And he actually made a lot of good points about refereeing in terms of, you know, a lot of people talk about hiring full-time refs and what that means. And he went off, 30-year veteran, basically saying, like, people just want full-time referees as a PR move. He's like, realistically, how is me sitting in an office in New York watching film going to make me a better referee? He's like,
Ding, 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 ding.
and he's like, the only way you get to be a better referee is by reffing games, specifically NFL games with NFL speed, with NFL talent. He's like, you can't simulate that. You can't do anything to improve that except for to get reps at doing specifically that. And in terms of what I do for 9 months, he's like, for 9 months, still have to work out. I just like these players, like, it's still a physical thing. Like, I'm still constantly exercising. Like, it's still a year-round thing, regardless if I get a check or not. So, and the last point he made, which I thought was pretty good, basically the AAF and college football both have 8 officials, and the NFL only has 7 because they took away the infamous referee who used to stand where the linebackers stand, who actually used to call a lot of the holding stuff because, well, you can't really see it from the
Secondary.
backfield.
Yeah.
And not just that, but the judge behind them is looking more at kind of like the middle of the field and pass interference there, and like kind of where the backs go out and like formation stuff. So he was basically saying that that's the real issue if they want to improve officiating, is put that 8th referee there so you have one more set of eyes and you have less people scanning the field. Because he was even saying, like, putting that 8th dude in the booth, like, what is that really going to do?
Yeah. That's for TV purposes.
So,
Like Dean Blandino when he was partying with with Jerry Jones a couple years ago.
so he's just like, Yeah, if they really want to solve the referee problem, put an extra referee. But the review is like,
But also that
It is what it
referee
is.
used to get knocked out. They used to constantly.
yeah, that's what he was saying. He
They
was
should
like,
kill.
but you just kind of have to accept that. Like, we know it's a dangerous sport, just like the players. Like, what else are you gonna do? Like, you need a referee there. Everyone else has a referee there.
And
College and AAF have a referee there.
they also don't have their own union, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because you'd have to be full time. I'm pretty sure to have a union.
Kind of hard to do that.
So yeah, NFL officiating is still fucked. Don't get your hopes up. That's basically what it comes down to. All right, next topic on that note, the AAF is actually under a lot of controversy. Despite its debut, which was overwhelmingly successful, basically the league is going to fold.
Let me hold something.
Yeah, because they essentially built a league on the hopes that the NFL would eventually give them talent. And the NFL is like, that's kind of a conflict of interest to our own CBA because we're essentially hoeing out our players to something that's really not part of us. So, yeah, it's not going to happen.
So it's the XFL all over again.
Essentially, someone tweeted that they're like, yeah. So the AAF basically sped through the whole process, launched up their league to beat the XFL. Were successful, but now they're ultimately not successful because they just moved too fast. And they didn't have all the funding and the checks in a row.
Yep.
And I think it was Sarah Spain who actually even added to it and was like, so how did this thing get funding without the NFL already agreeing to give it talent if that was such a big part of their strategy? Like, hello, red flag. Did anybody do their due diligence?
Were there some Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah,
That was a perfect use of that sound.
and I think ultimately it shows a thirst for football in that like people are so thirsty for this extra competition. They wanted a subsidiary league with all the problems that the NFL's been having. So they reached for it. And that's where we're at. The AAF is potentially going to go out of business after its first season.
They went public too fast. They hit their IPO way too fast. And now everybody else who's coming after them is going to pick up the scraps and use what they did to get better. Kind of like how Facebook just used what MySpace did and did it better.
Somewhat, but I mean,
and apparently all your
there's like going to be 3 more leagues coming out.
Yeah, and how many websites try to be like Facebook? A lot.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's some similarities for sure, but I think it's unfortunate because for the players, because you know a lot of these people are already journeymen. They're already bouncing around the league, and
I don't feel bad for Johnny Manziel though.
They finally, feel like they can get a footing, some traction, maybe build a little fan base.
They just want to play.
Maybe stick in a league, if not get to the league. Like even Trent Richardson, who we talked about a few weeks ago, who was finally putting everything together, showing some glimpses, and it's like,
what else is he gonna do now?
Well, now those 6-8 teams times 50. That's 400 people that are gonna be without a job, just like that.
Coaches and assistants too,
just like that, over something that could have been planned better, and could have been sustainable. But
is Mike Martz a coach in that league?
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's the coach of San Diego, actually.
Well, guess who's probably gonna go back to coaching the NFLPA Bowl?
Yeah, and Keith, shout out to Keith. He said last week the game had 18,000 in-person viewers in the stands, which is actually about a Chargers game or about a Lakers game, pretty much.
That's really damn good.
Better than the Arena Football League or the CFL.
First off, we're not going to besmirch the Arena Football League because I think they're still around. Yeah.
You literally said, "Are they still around?"
But they are. They are still around.
They literally want people to know they're still around. So support your AFL team.
They're on that CBS channel after you go past NFL Network.
CBS Network?
Yeah.
All right, next topic up, man. I really wanted to talk about this topic
By the way, yeah, fuck Johnny Manziel.
just because, we talk so much about professional sports specifically here, and, we make our rounds to college and high school. But we can't talk about sports at the highest level without talking about sports, that are special. Special Olympics came under a lot of controversy this past couple of weeks.
Fuck Betsy DeVoe, by the way.
Yeah, I think what's even worse about that whole situation.
She has a yacht that's worth $40 million, and she could sell her yacht and fund the Special Olympics herself and still have more yachts.
I didn't even know all that. What I was gonna say is
Yep.
about how her stance is kind of like shifted now. Now that Congress shut it down and Trump is like, yeah, the Special Olympics is getting funded, and now even she's like, yeah, this is great. Like, I wanted this to happen, even though they were like the two people that were like didn't want it.
Like, why does this exist? Oh,
Like,
wait,
why
have
are
to
we
do it?
pretending? Like, why are we pretending all like you're blatantly lying to us?
That's the country we've always lived in.
Like, we're not like we're supposed to be stupid enough when like 2 weeks ago you said this. Why does this exist? And now you're saying, oh, it's great that it's got funding. Like,
Idiocracy 2019.
but yeah, man. Any other thoughts on that?
She's a horrible human being. There's a special place in hell reserved for people like that. There.
But yeah, I just remember a few years ago I did some PR for the Special Olympics, and it's a really great feeling just seeing kids who.
And adults, because some of those people are.
Well, I'm talking about
Actually-
the kid level. I'm talking about the kid
okay,
level.
yeah.
But yeah, you can scale it up to the adult
Some of them
level.
are actually really great athletes. Like, they don't get it twisted. They would embarrass you at athletic events.
And yeah, there is some of that, but I'm talking about even just
The children.
even the children who can't do some of the daily activities that we take for granted, like just simply walking or talking or like all these different things, and seeing them have that sense of team and that sense of achievement, it's like really a beautiful thing. And the fact that that was even under consideration of being taken away is like, it's really stupid, especially when sports is this whole billion-dollar business and this whole multi-layered culture that we talk about every single week. It's like,
Well, I think it also kind of brings into light, like, I know it's a little bit of a tangent, but like how the voices
hey,
of
buzzword?
the voices of people with disabilities are silenced because they thought, well, this is not really bringing in much money because these are people who have disabilities, so why keep the funding like that? So
yeah,
it's kind of just shitty how we see our
everything has
Congress,
money.
and everything has a money kind of driven goal to it. It's like you said, it's very unfortunate because not only like the kids, you're saying the adults and the people behind it, and like many jobs will be lost, many
Yeah,
it's unfortunate. It is. And like I said, fuck Betsy DeVoe, fuck Congress, all that bullshit. It's a fucking circus. It's a fucking joke. And also another tangent, fucking Trump is deciding to go through with the FBI and DOJ. I don't know how he's going to do that about this whole Jussie Smollett case. So it shows you where we pay attention, like where we allocate our attention to, and
it's a celebrity. It's a clout-driven
it's
economy.
a clout. Yeah,
It's a clout-driven
And if
economy.
you got money, you'll beat the case.
Yeah.
And fuck Chicago PD. It's one of the most corrupt
Are we
cities.
are we
on the face
just
of the planet.
titling this segment "Fuck Everything"? No,
Fuck
Anything
your
else?
ass.
Yeah.
Fuck your ass bread.
Yeah.
All
We
right,
don't use profanity in titles, but there you go.
all right, Kenny. So you want to get to your college football update and pro day update,
Sure.
or do you want to take your tangent or touchdown or turnover?
Let's do that first because I'm trying to. Allegedly. This
You mean
dude
you don't
that-
have your link up to that? You're just
No,
gonna
I
read
have-
on air?
No, I have my stuff up, but I'm trying to confirm.
By stuff you mean an article that you're gonna read.
No, like WalterFootball.com. They always post they post pro day results, but I don't see Miami's. But Miami had their pro day. But Texas Tech, this dude John Bonney, who transferred from Texas to Texas Tech, 6'1", 205 safety, allegedly ran a 4.11 at his pro day. So yeah, there's always that one dude. They're like, oh, he ran a 4.0 flat. Yeah, I don't really believe it.
Bro, I can't with Keith. Hold up, on the tangent. Keith said, and I quote, "Worked the Special Olympics when it was in L.A. Kids with special needs got the finest sisters. LOL."
You going to hell.
Yeah, I can't with Keith.
Fam,
I
that is
can't
bad
with
karma.
Keith.
Bad karma that you brought on yourself.
Yeah, man.
But why? It's true, though.
What are
they
you talking
be
about,
having
Keith?
fine-ass
What are you
sisters.
talking about? Intention. What happened to intention?
They do be having fine ass
They
sisters.
do be thick though.
That-
I'm not gonna
That's
lie.
impact. That's impact for your ass. I'm just saying.
They be working hard. And they,
I know a couple. I know a couple females who got special need siblings, and I'm like, damn, that makes you kind of actually more attractive. Like, you're a really good person, and you hot. Okay, I could. I'm not gonna touch the dark side of that. I could, I could, but we're just not gonna do that right now.
Yeah.
We're just
Keith, the reason why that's bad is because you're supposed to be volunteering out of the goodness of your heart. Not so you can look at some thickums on the sideline.
But I mean, see, that's kind of tough. It's like when I used to play like youth sports, and we would all be like, "Damn, who mom is that?" And there'd be the one kid on the team like, "That's my mom." We're like, "Damn, your mama fine." They're like, "Yo, shut up." Like, it's probably kind of like that for the kid. But since it's a Special Olympics, that kid don't even care. No.
Keith said it's a double benefit. I guess, man.
I mean, it's like when
shoot your shot, I guess.
it's like when we used to do our thing at CSUN, and I used to get everybody to go to free events, and then people would find like girlfriends and like all types of jump offs from it. Saying I was the ultimate wingman.
Dude, play wingman one. You've never played wingman
First
for
off-
me.
first off.
So let's get that
Because
straight off.
first off, do you want to have that discussion, Pete? Do you really want to have that discussion right now? Why I don't play wingman for you, and you're in a relationship? Do you want to have that discussion right now? You probably should stop talking. You probably should just back off, and then we should hit the next.
Anyways,
Thank you,
so
Pete.
touchdown or turnover.
Bungalow
Simple.
talk.
You know how the game is. Touchdown if it's good, turnover if it's bad. So let's start off.
I feel like we're skipping a bunch of stuff, but
You didn't want to give your college football update. You want to procrastinate it.
this is funner. Let's do this.
All right. First of all,
But last week was a very numbers heavy episode, so that's why I'm like, let's get some fun in.
Jordy Nelson, former Packers wide receiver, one-time Raider.
Kansas
We don't
State
talk
All-
about that.
Kansas State All-American wide receiver.
White receiver who could actually play on the outside.
First off, don't disrespect the homie Jordy Nelson.
I'm just saying.
His name is Jordy.
He is not a slot receiver.
He clearly wasn't. He's not a possession receiver. He was a
He
legit-
might still be playing if he could actually play as a slot receiver.
Yeah, but he ran a
By the
4.5. He ran a 4.52 when he came out of college, and he was actually converted safety. And his 1 year receiver, he had an All-American season.
Jordy Nelson called it quits. Is that a touchdown or a turnover? Retiring.
That's a touchdown, man. There's nothing else for him to do. One of the greatest Packers receivers of all time. He actually had a really good first season in Oakland, despite how trash they were. Seth Roberts. What did Seth Roberts
He missed
do?
like 3 games. What? He had like 800 receiving yards, and they were all meaningless. Like
That's why you're mad. That's really why
even
you're mad.
Derek Carr, who threw over 4,000 yards last year and
like
70%,
39-20, like 39-28 or something like that.
like 70% of that was in garbage time, like the third and fourth quarter when they were already getting smacked
Except the
around,
Miami
and it
game.
literally meant nothing.
It was either the Miami or the Cleveland game where Jordy Nelson had almost 200 yards receiving.
So cool. You put up 20 in a blowout versus the Warriors' third team.
Or Devin Booker's whole career.
You're Andre Ingram. Congrats. Nah, I'm just playing.
You're Devin Booker.
Point
You scored,
is,
it means nothing.
Jordy Nelson, I'm going to say this is a turnover because
Wow.
I think there was like 4 teams interested in him, including the Packers, including the Patriots, and like 2 other teams. He still, like you said, his last season was still solid. I think it ultimately came down to money.
And
He's
will.
32 years old, and he was probably like, I don't want to do this anymore.
He won Comeback Player
And-
of the Year
and-
after a torn ACL.
And rather than go to New England for 6 games like Andre Johnson or Reggie Wayne, he was like,
Andre Johnson didn't go to New England, first off.
Oh, my bad. It was just
Don't
Reggie
you disrespect the legend.
Wayne. It was just Reggie
He went to the
Wayne.
Colts
It was just Reggie Wayne.
and then got cut.
No, Reggie Wayne called it quits. He was like, I shouldn't be out here anymore.
He's probably gonna get cut.
He was like, I shouldn't be out here anymore. Speaking of which, is Houston just where receivers go to like be really great and be under the radar forever?
Or talk to Yes Jules. I got a problem with DeAndre Hopkins. I might have to just not support him anymore because Yes Jules is trash.
Wow. Bro, you've been a DeAndre Hopkins fan since like literally his rookie year when everyone was writing him off.
Like when he.
You've
was a
literally
beast at
been saying
Clemson.
he's the best receiver since like AJ Green was actually good.
You wouldn't say that to AJ Green's face. I mean, he kicks it with Yes Jules, and she's a culture vulture, and she hates black women, so I can't co-sign that. She's a bum-ass white girl with a fake ass. Already, I'm pissed 3 times over, so there's that.
But yeah, I think Jordy Nelson could have got a job, so I'm just gonna say it's a turnover because, man, if you have a chance to move up those all-time lists,
Bro, he wasn't
have a
going to hit
chance to keep
10,000
playing.
yards. Why, though? And so you could say he's not a Hall of Famer when it's all said
Yeah.
and done?
exactly
You're an
that.
ass.
Exactly that.
Speaking of
Exactly that.
speaking of retirement,
He's not better than Hines Ward.
He's not.
Okay.
But Isaac Bruce is better than Hines Ward and Jordy Nelson.
Jordy Nelson's not even better than Jimmy Smith.
That's actually a fair argument.
Or, nah.
Stop just trying to.
I was going to say Keenan McCardell, but I don't know.
He's
He
better.
might
than
be better.
Keenan McCardell just played a long time. And honestly, I can't believe I'm jumping to the white receiver's defense on this, but like, don't compare him to other like good or great black receivers just to say he's trash. Jordy Nelson's been nice his whole career. He was
Except for the
on Madden
last
as a
2
third receiver.
years when he's
Okay.
been mediocre.
Okay.
And that 1 year
A
when
lot
he
of great receivers are trash at the end. Randy Moss was trash at the end. We
Nah,
saw-
he wasn't.
He was trash in that last Minnesota run. Don't lie to me and say he was good.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Tennessee.
Tennessee, he was trash too.
Nah, he wasn't.
Wow, you're gonna
Bro,
die
he
on that
was
hill?
still running with Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, but the effort wasn't in it.
Was the effort really ever in it? Like,
Yeah, Those first-
okay, that's debatable, but
you can't have bullshit effort and have 23 touchdown catches.
you can't when you're just a godly gazelle running down the field at 2
Nah.
gears faster than everyone.
He didn't dog it in New England.
Okay.
He was never gonna block for anybody. We know
On that note,
Just wanna say
Robert Gronkowski, the great white hope of Bristol, Connecticut, and
the
the
John Riggins
surrounding
of tight ends
the surrounding upper northeast,
and
officially
frat
retired.
boy god to the entire University of Arizona. I'm pretty sure he never went to class.
Is that a touchdown or a turnover?
That's a touchdown. He don't owe anybody
That's
anything.
definitely a touchdown.
Okay, Serb just hopping in here.
79 of them. 79.
Why is it a touchdown? Yeah, you.
I mean, I can understand like if you're if you watch football simply for the art of the sport, then it's kind of like you're a sellout. Why would you just retire now? After you've stayed at a team that has won all these super, like for me, I see like it's kind of like, of course,
Move on.
yeah, move on.
Yeah.
You should have went to at least another team to see if you were able to get a ring or something. But he knew that, oh, I'm at the Patriots and I got these rings, now I can retire. But I think it's a touchdown for it's more of a financial financial aspect. I think it's a touchdown because a lot of NFL players, especially like black NFL players, I don't think they're financially literate like other people are. And Gronk took the time to say, all right, I got these rings, I got this much money, I'm going to retire. And I think that's a smart move. He's young. He's not going to put his body on the line, unlike all these other players that have stayed for, 10 years. And, after the last 2 years, they're like, oh, you're old and you already got torn ACLs and broken bones, so we don't really need you. So I think it's a touchdown. I think it's a smart move if, career-wise. And he can definitely, with that money, he can invest. He can do all type of
He's got a
other
lot of
things.
options. I mean, they're
He
talking about him
actually-
doing movies, WWE.
He's
Yeah.
perfect for that.
If he does
yeah.
WWE,
That's perfect for him.
He's actually never spent a dime of his contract money.
Yeah,
He
Like
lived
Marshawn.
off.
and he's been
he lived
the
off
highest paid
endorsements.
tight end. For a
Is he
minute.
like Marshawn Lynch kind of?
Yeah,
Like,
he
Yeah.
lived off endorsements, but also that people got to remember he didn't play his last year at Arizona. He broke his back.
And
and
there was a
went to
couple
the
seasons
draft.
where he only played like half the year. So
I would say Gronk didn't play 9 seasons. He really played about 7, 6.5, and that's
I'd say even like 5,
nah,
maybe 6
he
or 7
played-
with the
he played
playoffs.
A good
Maybe if
6
you lump the playoffs in there.
No. I'm just gonna say for his regular season career, for 79 touchdowns. By the way, I think it was Pro Football Focus. They had that trash ass, or it might have been ESPN. I don't know. That trash ass thing. John Gronkowski caught .69 touchdowns.
Every game or something like that.
I was
yeah.
like, bro, that's first off. My thing with Gronk is if he was black, they would have been got him out of here, because you can't be a black dude and act the way Gronk acted and be that sexually explicit and disrespectful with female reporters. Constantly like forcing 69 in all your answers. Like, let's be honest, Gronk only gets away with it because he's a fratty white boy, but he's a goofball.
I mean, that's the same thing just
he's
with
a
non-athletes.
goofball. He's a
though.
meathead, so we loved him.
That's the
He's
same thing
definition
with
of meathead.
that's the same thing with anybody though.
No. But in particular with Gronk, because Gronk did some kind of
I mean,
the Gronk
black-
love tour,
black
love boat tour.
black people in frats act differently than white people in frats.
Keith, did you hear that? We're gonna.
I'm not even
I wanna
talking.
see
I'm not even talking about.
No, not like that. Would just be an interesting conversation.
I'm not even talking about
That
black
would be
fraternities. That's a whole nother.
that would be a
issue.
really
That's a whole
interesting
nother
conversation. Just because I want to hear
culture.
the funny ass stories, like not even on like a let's argue and debate. Like that would be an interesting panel. Or an
But
interesting
yeah,
conversation.
I think
Gronk was
saying
a frat boy
that-
and got away with it.
here's why I think it's a turnover. I think it's a turnover
He
because
has 3 rings. Keep in mind.
I think it's a turn. It's
He's
it's I, it's
29.
it's a touchdown
Not
for
30,
him.
He's 29.
It's a touchdown for him, like no doubt about it. Like you said, all the things like move
First
on.
ballot Hall of Famer.
You already got your rings. You already got your money. You already been the best player at your position. Move on. But I think it's a turnover just because
It hurts since he was 20.
it's a turnover because of all this media reaction. Like honestly, I'm really tired of it. I need everyone to get off Gronk's stick.
They don't want to. Though.
That's all I want to say.
Bro, how
Like-
many people
like,
from
like if it
ESPN
wasn't for all these people like crying about it, like bro, we've been talking about Gronk retiring for about 3 seasons now.
That's
It's
one
not a
less white
surprise.
person they lost in
Exactly.
the NFL, so of course they're gonna
Exactly,
cry.
and that's the biggest thing is like because he is this approachable, outgoing, expressive, over the top personality. He gives these people a lot of quotes. He gives them a lot of content to talk about every single week. And that's the real reason why they're upset that he's leaving. It has nothing to do with his
They
impact.
like him as a
Or-
person.
because we've seen the Patriots win even without him.
Yeah. And he honestly was probably the most
And we've
complete
seen
tight
them
end.
win even in spite of him when he's on the field hobbled, walking like Kenny because his back hurts.
First off.
You probably got a Gronk back.
No, I don't.
You can't even deny it.
I've never broken my back.
That you've been diagnosed with.
I would know if I broke my back. Chill. I knew when I broke my ankle because my foot was facing the other direction. Like, that's different. I've had ankle, foot, and like a knee injury that is starting. Like, okay, so when I was like a freshman,
Nobody cares.
shut up. We were playing Bishop Montgomery, and it was freshman year, and I remember it was like a touchdown block. The play was away from me. I had made my block, but
Yeah,
like some
yeah,
kid
yeah.
somehow, some
Sure.
dumbass safety.
Everyone
it was
after
a backside play.
after the fact,
It was
nobody
backside play.
after the
It
fact
doesn't matter what I do.
After the fact, yeah, you're that guy. I already knew you were that guy. I was gonna say
You're that guy too.
After the fact,
You're that
nobody
guy.
nobody admits to not doing their job on the backside after the fact. Like Randy Moss, if you ask him, he's probably like, "Yeah, I ran every
What you-
route,
what you doing?
100%."
First off, you and I both know damn well, especially in the wing tee, when it's a backside play, it's really a backside play. Like, that's just a free reign for you to just destroy a guy's leg.
No, because sometimes a backside play on a wing tee could have like 7 people pulling, and everyone on the backside
Torrance-
is like
that's
pulling.
Torrance's offense. That's not Londale's offense. We didn't run it like that. But anyway, like, So this kid somehow ran into my leg. Like somebody tossed him and he flew through the air and fell into my knee, and my leg was firmly planted on the ground. So my knee got super hyperextended, and ever since then it just kind of hurts my left knee. So yeah, I just know that like it's probably permanently fucked up. Like I'm accepting that my left knee is done.
But the real question is, do you think Gronk is going to come out of retirement kind of like how Marshawn did for like a PR stunt?
Possibly, because Drew Rosenhaus talked about it. Like if Tom Brady needed him, he might come out of retirement for a game or two.
I think that would be a smart, again, like on his side
For his brand
as his name, Rob Gronk. I think that would be one of the most smartest things to do, because it's like, oh my God, the Patriots, we lost them, blah 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 blah, and then if he were to come back, then they'll be like, oh my God, like this is the comeback of the year or whatever, you know. So I think it would be kind of like,
if he does do that, he needs to
pull a
do
Teddy
it somewhere not in New England.
because they're probably going to draft.
Or Troy Brown.
This is
Troy Brown did that too.
This is a deep. We're going to talk about Troy Brown. This is a deep tight end class. Like you get a tight end in the third round and be set.
they'll probably send him somewhere where all the white boys praise him.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is Arizona.
That's retirement capital, bro. Everybody goes
Exactly,
to
the retirement capital. He has college roots there. They would love it if he went there.
Yeah, that is true. That would bring money to Arizona.
They're gonna give him 87 too.
And especially if Kyler's there, that's the team people might actually watch.
That's a party bus. That's
That's
a Minnesota
party buzz.
That's Minnesota. That's Minnesota. But yeah,
the Gronk boat. Shout out to Sarah Spain.
that felt like a conflict of interest. All those media people on that Gronk boat, though, because again, if it was anybody else, if T.O. did that, it'd be an issue.
No, it definitely would be.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if we take race out of that, if certain football players, certain personality types, if Chad Johnson did that, it'd be looked at away. They said, "Oh, him being on Chad and T.O. having the T.O. show. Oh, it's a distraction." Well, Carson Palmer played like shit. So, we're gonna talk about that. The Bengals defense was low-key
Carson
trash.
is your guy.
He is kind of, but like he is, but like still, we can't admit that Carson. It's like Carson. If Carson Palmer won a Super Bowl, he'd be Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
They'd be on the bubble. That's the only thing that saves Kurt Warner is that he wants a Super Bowl. Otherwise, you're really not that much better than Carson Palmer.
All
He's
right.
a Hall of Famer, so I can't technically say that, but I did. So there.
All right. Next one. Jeremy Maclin, who sat out all last year, actually retired officially this year via his baby shower. One of his former teammates announced it. I forgot who.
Way to go, King. Way to put the energy on. Way to put all the attention on yourself at your wife's baby shower. And she was a real one because she was like, "It's another chapter." Shout out to them.
So you're saying it's a turnover or a touchdown? Because that wasn't clear.
It's a touchdown. Shout out to. No, I was just joking about the whole like taking the attention. Like, hey, it's my wife's baby shower. It's, you know, she's the one who's like 9 months pregnant, about to pop. But guess what? I'm retiring from the NFL, guys. I'm done doing the thing that I've been great at most of my life. We'll
And
see
I'm
what's
actually
next.
really depressed, but I'm dealing with it
I
now.
have mad injuries. Like, this didn't go the way I wanted to. Like, Deshaun Jackson's better than me, even though I was a first-round pick. And he was a second-round pick. But no, Jeremy Maclin was a legendary.
Maclin was.
No,
can I
for
say
Mizzou,
Maclin was better?
Maclin was
was.
better college player.
I feel like Maclin was better for like year 3 and 4, and then Deshaun came back and like caught him again.
Deshaun was like, you know how fast I am, right?
Like, cause I feel like
No,
Deshaun was better
went
at
over the middle.
first,
Yeah.
and then like that mid career, Maclin had like 2 or 3 years where he was better, and then Deshaun got
to
better
another
than him.
level. He became like an elite deep threat. Because when he first started, they used him as a returner, gadget guy, third receiver. But yeah, like, shout out to Maclin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say it's a touchdown
He's
too
had mad injuries
because
too. Like,
it's a new way of announcing your retirement. Like I said, I'm sure he's probably because last year he didn't play, but he wasn't retired, so I'm pretty sure he
got-
felt some type of way about that. So the fact that he has something else to put his attention to is, I
and he
think
got
it's
knocked
good.
out when he played for the Chiefs. he got knocked out. I was like, yo, Jeremy Maclin can't keep getting hit like he's. Jeremy Maclin has gotten hit harder and looked like he was about to die worse than Ricky and Boys in the Hood did. By the way, we've been talking about it on Twitter. I've been talking about a lot of people. Ricky was a shitty prospect. Like, he was a shitty high school prospect.
You want to
No
tell Vince
agility.
Staples that, though?
Yeah, I will. He had no agility, bro. He didn't have the straight line speed to get away from the car. He should have had the field awareness to at least hop a fence.
You're a scumbag.
Like, no, realistically, and he couldn't. Like, he wasn't physical because Doughboy hemmed his ass up that one time when they was about to fight. So it's like he's not physical at the point of attack. So you know he couldn't block. So he couldn't pass block. So he probably wasn't going to play much his freshman year at USC. They're probably going to have to switch him to safety or linebacker. And since he ain't physical,
So he'd be Devin White.
Devin White is physical. What are you talking about? You mean Devin Bush?
He was a running back.
Yeah, but like they had Leonard Fournette. So what are you going to do?
True. All right. Next one.
He's like a poor man's Sua Cravens. Like, Ricky would have been trash. Ricky would have been like, if at best.
You didn't think
his
Sewell
team-
Cravens was trash coming out.
No,
so.
he wasn't. He should have been an All-American too. He got robbed. But that's what happens when you don't commit to playing linebacker your whole career. And the USC coaching staff kind of had it out against him because they're like, we're going to suspend him for a game because like he wore his socks a certain way. But yeah.
Next one I got. The Dallas Cowboys traded for Robert Quinn. They sent a 6th-round pick to Miami to get Quinn, former Los Angeles Ram and one-time Dolphin. Basically restructured his deal to only a $9 million cap hit for the Cowboys instead of 11.
8.5 to 9.
He had 7.5 sacks last year, I believe, and 5.5 of them came in like the last 5 games or something like that. So, would you grade that a touchdown or is that a turnover?
That's a touchdown for Dallas. That's a steal. Like, you got to give it up to Dallas for making gutsy trades that'll make them better. And it's also more leverage because if, let's say, Robert Quinn under Rod Marinelli, one of the best defensive line coaches of all time, has a resurgent season. It tarnishes the value of a DeMarcus Lawrence. And it actually gives them reason to lowball him. Because they're like, yeah, if you have a great season, well, you had Robert Quinn on the other side. And we had the NFL draft. So, ipso facto.
Yeah, I'm also going to say it's a touchdown because I wanted Quinn to go to the Raiders. And honestly, a 6th-round pick,
We all did.
when you think about it, Quinn is better than anyone you're going to get in the 6th round.
Quinn is better at his age than Reggie Nelson ever was.
Oh, why you leave that man alone, man?
No, I'm not leaving Reggie Nelson alone.
Also a trade for
Leave the
6th round.
Raiders alone. Don't be a
Also-
coach. Just leave. Leave
Also
out
a
all two.
trade for 6th-round pick that happened this week. Jordan Howard from the Chicago Bears was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles for a
Perfect.
6th-round pick.
Perfect offense for Jordan Howard.
Are you also grading that a touchdown?
That's a touchdown, and Chicago didn't need him because they have Tariq Cohen. Chicago's going to more a fast break, dink and dunk offense, kind of what the Saints have. So you don't really need a guy like Jordan Howard, who, if he played for the Colts,
The poor man's Fournette. I
he's-
mean, not Fournette, Forte.
he's a better Joseph
Sorry,
Adai.
I get
He's Joseph
I
Adai, but
get
not
running
as
backs
fast.
mixed up.
He's a poor man's man.
I was trying to think of a way to slander Forte in that statement without slandering Fournette.
So what you're saying is Fournette is not your forte,
No,
or Forte?
it's not my forte.
Okay.
We've already had a lot of discussion on that over the years.
Even though he set the reception record for a running. Matt Forte has arguably a Hall of Fame resume.
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry.
First
Were
off,
you talking about Frank Gore? My bad.
You know what? Oh yeah, you gonna answer for Frank Gore because you've never
Hey.
answered for. He's the Hall of Famer. Why is no? Because you
All
lied and
right.
backtracked on Twitter.
Fan court?
Fan court. Let's do this. Oh no! You're not backtracking.
Here's what it is. I got it this week. I got why Frank Gore is not a Hall of Famer.
Why?
Because he got stopped at the 5-yard line.
Boo yourself.
Yeah.
Boo yourself.
No, everyone likes to
Boo
talk.
yourself.
Everyone likes.
Boo this man.
Are you boycotting until I boo
Boo.
myself?
Yes. LeVar Ball.
Which I'm gonna get to in my rants. Don't worry, I got that steamed up. You gonna want to stay tuned for that.
Bungalow talk.
Everyone talks about the Seahawks and Marshawn Lynch not getting the ball on the 2-yard line, but nobody talks about Frank Gore not getting the ball that whole drive after essentially driving them into the 5-yard line in that Super Bowl versus the Ravens, which preceded by LaMichael James. Yeah, no, we're not talking about NCAA 2012. No, he actually got the ball in crunch time in the Super Bowl, got 3 yards, and then your boy Colin Kaepernick threw the ball 3 times to Michael Crabtree.
Greg Roman was their offensive coordinator. That's all
which, on a tangent, I was gonna ask this at the top of the show.
I know you were.
But what game in your mind would be different under the new PI rules? Like what's a big
the
moment?
Colts Patriots games.
That's exactly what
I
was thinking
got
about.
Their shit pushed in.
When Ty Law was literally just running receivers into the bench.
Literally, they got shoved to the floor, mounted, and slapped like a bitch, like in front of their children.
Little Asante Samuel, or no, that was before Asante Samuel.
That was before. That was like that was before Ellis Hobbs too. I think Ellis Hobbs might have been a rookie, but that was Ty Law,
Troy Brown,
Lawyer Miller, even
safety.
Troy Brown. I forget who the other corner was, but
how about the Legion of Boom? Does the Legion of
Boom
exist
Jones or some shit
in
like
that in this whole PI era?
I mean, realistically, yeah, because they played within the rules. But those Patriots corners cheated, bro.
Why do you think Browner moved over to the Patriots so seamlessly?
Yeah, but he couldn't cover, and he's going to prison now. He's
all right, but that was one game that came to my mind.
That
was one game that came to my mind as something that would be
the Steelers
different.
Ravens games would have just everyone been
because the Jimmy Smith held the shit out of Michael Crabtree on that last play, that 4th down.
So what? People got to stop acting like Mike Crabtree was a great jump ball receiver. He really wasn't.
Okay, all I'm saying is
shorter than him.
All I'm saying is we give Harbaugh a pass, but we don't give Pete Carroll a pass.
First
for
off,
literally the same situation.
They were getting blown out.
Literally the same situation.
They were getting blown out, and then Beyonce
hit the lights.
Turn the lights off. Literal lyrics to a Beyonce song. She literally shut down. I mean, nobody saw Michelle fall, but it's whatever.
Illuminati.
Yeah, okay. I don't have an answer for that. I really didn't. But Magna Carta Holy Grail was a terrible album, but Heaven is the best song on that shit, and I'm probably gonna play it at graduation. But anyway, when it comes to that Super Bowl, oh yeah, there we go. Beyonce. When it comes to that Super Bowl, you realize the Ravens were beating the dog shit out of the Niners before the lights came off, right?
I didn't get there until halftime, so I don't.
I was keeping track of the game because I was at work, and then
I was at work. I was working at Goodwill at the time, so I was
working at Anna's Linen. Shout out to y'all going out of business, you stupid fucks.
And I got back to the house, and literally my Super Bowl party was a shit show. Everyone was wasted. It was bad, bro. I walked in there at halftime, and like that was literally like right when Beyonce was going on. And everyone was just trashed. And then when the game ended, everyone just kept getting more trash. That game was a lot.
It sounds like me with this previous Super Bowl. I just got trash. I didn't even see what happened.
It's probably for the best.
We gotta like go back and have like what was your best Super Bowl party moment?
We've had that already. But
no, you don't want to talk about it. It's okay. We won't. I don't want to hurt your heart.
Is it gonna get him in trouble or something?
It's gonna get us all in trouble, so we should probably not talk about it.
Anyways,
shout out to all you can eat
Korean barbecue.
I love Korean barbecue. If anybody knows me, I love pork belly. Pork belly is amazing. Korean barbecue is amazing. It is life. That's it. Sorry, mic drop.
Pork belly is
overrated. Too expensive to drop.
Pork belly is amazing.
I'm gonna say pork belly is overrated.
I will fight. I will
like
sit here, argue, and
it's like
turn
thick bacon.
blue. Pork belly.
First off,
is
pork
amazing.
belly is
it
not
melts
bacon.
in your mouth.
It's like
if it's
bacon.
cooked perfectly, and if you have the kimchi, you have the bean sprouts, you have the radish wrap.
I like the
right.
I like the
I
brisket.
work at an Asian restaurant.
I like the brisket.
The brisket don't have no taste, man. You might as well go with the bulgogi.
Thank you. Can we admit that brisket is dry as fuck?
Or if you're gonna go with pork belly, get some marinated pork belly or a spicy pork belly.
Stuffed pork belly.
I just don't like the texture of it. Like,
Pork belly is
because it's
amazing.
pork. That's why. It's like
Do you
eating
eat
a pork
pastor?
rind. It's gross.
Do you eat pastor tacos, or you
yeah,
just like?
I do.
So then, how you not like?
Because
That's a different kind
it's
of
a
thing.
different.
though.
I mean,
It's a different
I
kind of
know
pork.
it's
I know it's pork.
It's like
I know my pork.
jerky and.
Trust me, I know my pork. If you read my timeline, you would probably be
Assalamu
very.
alaikum?
You
Okay.
would look at me sideways because a lot of my friends look at me sideways because all I think about is pork belly. But I know I know the cut of a pastor is different from pork belly. But I'm saying pork is pork. And it's still fatty.
Why I gotta eat pastor? I can't eat pork chops.
Pork chops is
I
good
can't-
too,
I
especially
can't.
with the fat.
Fried? Do you like?
There's
do we-
so many other
do we
pork
like fried
dishes.
pork
Why we gotta
chops?
go straight to pastor?
Do you like chicharrones?
She hitting you in
I
your
like
backyard.
the chips. I like,
But you don't
I don't
like
like the
gelatinous, like when they make
nah,
it.
hell no.
Gelatinous. Fam,
That
man.
Pork
texture.
belly is amazing, and like
I'm
yeah,
big on texture. I'm big on texture in terms of
You
eating.
get-
I can't eat pork. I don't eat pork anyway. But like,
Shut your ass
No,
up.
I don't.
If
I
I had
don't.
some
I don't.
motherfucking pork sliders right here, you would eat them.
no, I wouldn't. Especially
You
if they're-
would.
Especially
You're
if they're
lying.
B-dubs.
You are
You
lying.
ain't no baby back ribs right now
You are lying.
from
that's-
Lucille's.
That's
no one eats at
I get their
Lucille's.
chicken strips.
Lucille's barbecue
Lucille's
is
is-
fine. Their
I
signs
get-
you
is
gotta-
nasty. I
you
just
gotta
went.
Chicken
You
strips
gotta
with
come
the-
over to my house, and that bill is nasty.
It
That
is.
$60 bill.
What
Like,
the fuck did
fuck
I eat?
did
Poverty
I
and
Right?
strife.
eat?
I didn't
You
know
better take
Luce-
your ass to brunch and at least get some mimosas.
But
out
next
of
time you
it.
guys go to Korean barbecue, you gotta invite me because I'm definitely down. I love Korean barbecue and I
My-
love soju. Those
All
two
right,
things
good to know.
together.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Good to know.
My chef, she makes like a bunch of like
Oh my!
pork dishes. So
And
it's like
whenever she makes pork belly, please invite me. Like you don't understand.
you have to come all the way out to see.
My fascination for pork belly is kind of.
You're a pork belly connoisseur. All right.
I'm a pork belly It says that on my IG. If you
We're
look
a
at my
hood Chinese
IG,
connoisseur. You're a pork belly
if you look at
connoisseur.
my phone's there right now, but if you guys look at my personal IG, the first thing it says is pork
Oh.
belly connoisseur.
I just saw the look
Are
on
you
his face.
serious?
I swear to God, you can look it up
Are you
right now.
serious?
I shit you not.
I'm an ice
You're
cream
a pork-
connoisseur.
you're-
I am a pork belly
son.
connoisseur, and I am proud of that.
Hey, shout out to Woo
Teriyaki chicken
for
connoisseur.
plugging the buche tacos. Yeah.
Those
Uche's
are fly
better.
too. Those are fly.
Hey, Woo asked a question though. He says, "Do you think the NFL will outscore itself next year? Will there be more points with the new PI rule?"
Yeah, there's gonna be more touchdowns, but better defensive statistics, and they're gonna spin it.
Yeah, I
High sack numbers and high interception. That's why you haven't seen anybody.
think
get
it's
10
gonna be
pix
more
anymore.
time. It's gonna be more time.
There's like more
we're gonna
system
be
corners.
4-hour games.
There's more system. Like think about it. How many?
Don't
like-
call Xavier Howard a system corner.
Oh, so now you don't want to slander Baylor?
Don't call Drake Kirkpatrick a system corner.
Did you hear what you just said? You just said Drake Kilpatrick isn't a system corner.
I'm being
He went to
sarcastic.
Alabama. I know. Like, fam, they play
Marlon
zone.
Humphreys is in the slump.
Marlon Humphreys is actually good, but no, like if you look at a lot of like the slot corner position is almost more important than the starting corner position.
Which, by the way,
And when it
LaMarcus
comes to
Joyner compared to Rondé Barber is just lazy.
That's
but go
you
ahead.
should be stabbed with an infected crack needle. Whoever said that,
John Gruden said that, and
I stand by that. New Jack City style. I kill Pookie. Like yeah, but anyway, when it comes to that and defenses and all, you haven't. When's the last time a corner had 10 interceptions?
I don't know. I couldn't tell
Champ Bailey, Asante Samuel. It's been a while, and they got those picks on their own merit. Like
you. Like
it wasn't
nowadays, 6 picks is a lot, bro. Like
That's
if
what
you
I'm
get
saying.
6 picks, that's a lot. Like,
that's what I'm saying. But we pass more. We pass more than ever. So people get a lot of tackles, not a lot of picks, and a lot of sacks. Think about that. Aaron Donald.
shout out to Charles Woodson being the only one with 20 sacks and 65 picks. Legend.
Could have been a free safety his whole career and still been a Hall of Famer.
So he would have been Eric Berry.
No, he would have been better than Eric Berry. Eric Berry can't return punts. Never could. At Tennessee, kind of. But
Yeah.
Like, man, Eric Berry is like the one dude who had to play strong safety because everybody around him was trash. That's why I hate the Chiefs.
He could have played corner coming out, though.
He could have. He could have. He was a perfect free safety. He was such a complete free safety that they're like, oh yeah, you have to kind of do everything for us,
All right.
which is gross.
Well, let's get through this. So, back to Howard. I'm going to say it's a turnover just because
Stop treating this segment like pork belly.
Philadelphia,
Yes.
they just keep going through this at running back. Like, just get it. They haven't had a stable running back since LaShawn McCoy.
No, that's the
Draft
offense
someone
they
and
want.
stick to them.
Bro, they want a running back by committee because they wanted to be all on Carson Wentz. And guess what? Now that Nick Foles ain't there,
And that's exactly why I'm saying it's a
you
turnover.
got Nate Sudafed as your backup.
That's exactly why I'm saying it's a turnover
Yes,
because
I
you
said
need
Nate
to get him.
Sudafed.
You need to get him a feature back.
His name is Nate Sudfeld, but I just wanted to say Sudafed.
One more time.
Nate Sudafed.
All
Okay,
right.
Sudfeld.
Put
What-
the styrofoam cups away
That's not. There's no
and the
codeine in
homemade
it.
meth labs.
Fam, black people don't do meth.
It's debatable.
7 black people, and they're all in Florida. Fuck out of my face.
Nah, there's more than that, bro.
2 in Georgia.
That's more than that.
2 in
You ever been to the
Texas.
high desert, bro? You ever been to Victorville?
Fam,
That's
Saying
what
all of the
black people do in
IE,
there.
Moreno
Valley,
Yeah,
all
the IE.
them.
Yeah, the IE.
You know Concord, Stockton. Come on now.
we ain't gonna talk about Stockton.
Yeah.
That's not the Bay Area. Is Stockton the Bay Area? Are we counting Stockton? No, it's not.
Pleasanton.
Isn't it?
Pleasanton and all that pleasant.
But they still just do
Is
that
it?
stuff out there, and the BART hits Pleasanton, bruh. Come on now.
Anything
Anything that the BART touches is considered a bay. That's my criteria.
Can you catch a bus to get back there though? If the bus takes you somewhere else, it's like, yeah, I could go to Northridge and hop on the flyaway bus, and it'll take me all the way to LA, but it'll take me to like some random spot. It won't.
That's true,
It doesn't
that's
really cater to the area. So just because
It's just there. You're
Yeah.
saying it just
Like,
stops there, but it's
like
like
if you're in San Leandro, no, you're in the Bay Area.
Yeah,
but it's
no,
like,
San
oh, you're in
Leandro,
Pleasanton,
yeah.
then it's like, not really.
I mean,
Are
but,
you near
and
Nations?
not really, but it's still kind of it. I mean, not really, but it still kind of is. It's not East Bay, what we consider the Bay, because I get what you're saying, but it's
I
still
go East
considered
Bay.
the Bay Area.
Yeah, I go East Bay, North Oakland, and then downtown Oakland, Storybook Village, and all that.
hmm
Those are the areas I touch. Now West Oakland.
No, we don't. That's before that was no man's land.
Now it's San Francisco, pretty much. My family's from West Oakland originally.
Especially Acorn, like when I was younger, and people look at me crazy, like people from LA, and they're like, "Why are you like tripping off of it?" I'm like, "You don't understand."
The gentrification happened, and no one cared.
Yeah.
Our T'Challa got murdered in front of us, and just no one said shit about it. Like,
Now it's gonna happen in Inglewood. I mean, I live next to the stadium that they're building right now, and it is ridiculous. They're already raising rent. They're already closing a soul food place because
Wait.
they raised the rent up. Over
they
there.
closes the soul food spot.
M&M and soul food. I think they're closing it down. But you still got Doolin's.
Isn't Dulane's not black owned though?
No, I think it was black owned. It's
I
definitely
heard
black owned.
I heard the one
You
on
know which one
Crenshaw
you
is
know?
owned by like a Mexican dude.
I don't know about that one.
Straight
but-
by that Black Power, the history of black people mural down Crenshaw, the one that got vandalized by those neo Nazis. There's the Dulane's right there, a small one.
Oh yeah. But
Like,
I don't. I know. I live right across Doolin's on Century. Like I live
Oh, yeah.
right across.
The worst fucking street in the history of
No,
life.
I live like that McDonald's. I live right across. Yeah, it is the worst street ever.
I would rather walk
It is
on the freeway
hood.
for Oakland, like right by the stadium. I'd rather walk on that one.
Mhm.
I'd rather walk down Seminary at midnight.
Hey, don't diss Seminary. I'm from Seminary.
in the
Don't diss
in the
Seminary. I
90s.
can
Really?
walk-
You're gonna
I can
pretend like that
walk.
wasn't
I can
hood?
walk down Seminary, no problem.
You can. I could, but still, it was scary.
That's scary. People just make it seem like
I had an incensed realization in me that I could die at any moment at like 4 and 5 years old, just by where I walked in Oakland.
all right,
And if
man.
you're from Oakland, you know. But anyway,
Speaking of Oakland made a couple moves this week, whatever you want to say, depending on if you're listening to podcast or live. But they signed Brandon Marshall,
not the
linebacker.
receiver.
linebacker from the Denver Broncos, Super Bowl champion, and who else? I'm blanking.
Isaiah Crowell,
Isaiah Crowell, yeah.
the
there you go.
OG, the Georgia running back that none of us like to admit is actually the most productive. Even though he left Georgia and went to I think Eastern Carolina or Coastal Carolina.
Are you giving that a touchdown or a turnover?
Did you have me muted?
No, I muted her.
Okay. Oh, peace, sir.
See
But,
you next week.
Yeah, so I would say it's a touchdown because he will do. I think we talked about this in the FPC chat. He does all the nasty, dirty stuff that no other running back will do, and he had a 200-yard rushing game.
Huh?
He's a bridge. He's the definition of a bridge running back. Like if you want, like remember when Priest Holmes was at the end of his career, and then they brought in Larry Johnson.
Nah, don't even put them in the same name.
Okay, fine.
He's
Remember-
never had a 1,000-yard rushing season.
Okay, that's fair. I got a better one for you. Remember when
He had
Remember Chester
96.
Taylor rushed for 1,200
Yeah.
yards in Minnesota, and then Adrian Peterson came, and they were like, Chester, get your bum ass out of here.
Yeah, I could kind of see that.
He's Chester Taylor light.
I could kind of see that.
He's adjacent. He's Chester Taylor adjacent.
Yeah, I'm just, for me, like you said, he does a lot, but at the same time,
They need a run.
he doesn't do anything great, and you can find what he brings in the mid rounds of the draft. So
Yeah, and Tony Pollard. Well, I'll get to the pro days in a little bit, but yeah,
why not
There's running
why not
backs.
develop new talent instead of giving those reps to someone who's
but he's competent. He's competent.
he's competent, like, yeah, but that's exactly what he's been like.
Remember when he
he
shit
hasn't
on the
got-
Raiders defense a couple years
Yeah,
ago?
I do.
Okay,
Maybe that's what I'm salty about.
yeah.
But what I'm saying is, essentially, he hasn't gotten better, right? He's been solid, and he stayed solid.
But
which
that's
is
what
cool,
that was his pro comparison.
which is cool.
was.
But the Raiders need something a little bit more
franchise running
dynamic.
back.
They need something a little bit more dynamic.
You want a franchise running back or like a guy who's
and Marshall's been hurt. He hasn't been able to cover in about 2 years. Basically, got replaced at the end of the season last year in Denver.
but a Sacramento
I
State
get it.
linebacker.
Yeah, he's from the area. It's from NorCal. He's from NorCal.
He's better than any linebacker.
He
we
has
have.
Super Bowl experience,
And he's actually really fast and athletic.
and he knows the division.
And he knows how to cover.
But where is he going to play? You're going to play
Outside linebacker.
Perfect at outside linebacker, or you're going to play him at middle
He
linebacker?
played Marshall at outside linebacker.
Because
He played middle linebacker
Perfect
in a 3-4.
because Perfect knows the defense. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is Marshall going to be able to set the edge? Like, are
He's
you
a
confident with him
He's
blitzing
a
a lot?
coverage linebacker, bro.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like,
Tahir Whitehead will probably be the one blitzing. Stupidly. But, again, this is why they need to draft Devin White at 4 or trade back. But, honestly, I wouldn't trade out of it because I think Tampa Bay is going to take Montez Sweat or Devin White. So, whatever the Raiders do, they're kind of screwed because Tampa Bay's right there. Yet again,
Tampa Bay might trade out, though.
I don't know about that.
They've been talking about trading out.
If
They
can
said
get-
they're open for business.
If they can get Devin, well, for a quarterback, if there's a run on QBs, then yeah. But I think once Devin White gets drafted, Devin Bush is very close behind him.
All right. Well, let's get to take or turnover. Hopefully, you'll all have the bids ready next week for that. But, real quick, the Washington. Wait, I don't know where I'm at. I'm lost because we jumped your. You want to give your college football update? Just do that.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so
Can you do it in under 4 minutes?
of course.
Let's see.
All right, so Mississippi State at their. Actually, you know what? Let me just go straight to Houston. So, Ed Oliver, I think I said something else earlier in the show. I think I said his first name wrong. But Ed Oliver literally ran a shuttle, a shuttle that was faster than most NFL wide receivers. He ran a 4.19 shuttle.
I think like Aaron Donald ran like a 4.21 or something like that, and that's pretty much what.
4.26.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what they're comparing him to.
And Deshaun Jackson ran a 4.19 shuttle. That's how amazing that is.
The,
For a
ma-
guy-
the
and
main
he
thing
ran
that
a
they're testing with the
4.75.
shuttle is coordination and change of direction.
Agility and
agility.
explosion. Yeah.
They want to see, can you move quickly in a short area, and can you move smoothly?
I think he had like 28 bench press reps at the combine. He put up great numbers.
And he ran a 4.71,
4.75. They said
4.75.
at Houston's pro day, and Houston used him as a nose tackle. Like Major Applewhite is trash. That's why I kept saying that. Like he was that defense. They built that defense around Ed Oliver. Had he gone to LSU, oh my God, imagine how much better he would have been had he gone to LSU. But he stayed home, went to Houston. You know, and some people are saying the
Probably
Falcons,
got some Astroworld tickets out of it,
he
but
should.
we can't talk about that.
Can't talk about that, but he should. By the way, I'm gonna have my mom come on to talk about NCAA violations because she told me a crazy story about her one time and when she was being recruited by colleges to run track. But anyway, yeah, track athlete stories for like NCAA violations are crazy. Just
I wish track was more mainstream, like it was like in the 90s, before doping essentially ruined it and destroyed the whole sport.
And Lolo Jones ruined it because she wasn't even all that good and she lost every big race that she should have won. But anyway.
Was that the one who was a man?
Nah, she was a light-skinned chick. She said she came out and said she was a virgin. She's actually hot, but like she was just cuckoo. She's crazy. You're like, oh, you're going to be a cat lady. But anyway. Yeah. Houston, that was really the biggest pro day of the week I was waiting for. This dude, he might play linebacker at the next level. I think that would be a waste of his talent. I don't think he's like a Melvin Ingram type guy where you put him at defensive end. I think he's just a pure 3 technique. I don't even think you should draft him if you have a 3-4 defense. You want to put him at defensive end. That's stupid. Like, you should put him in a 4-3 defense as a D tackle. Like, Rashawn Gary can play 5 technique, and he ran a faster 40. And by the way, he measured in at 281 pounds at his pro day, and he ran a 4.75 and ran a 4.19 shuttle. That's damn near like 90 agility. That's over 90 agility in Madden. That's better than a lot of corners. It's insane. But anyway, off that. You want me to get to the next one?
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. So Mississippi State, Montez Sweat going to meet with a bunch of teams. He was their top prospect. Elgin Jenkins, 6'4", 311, ran a 5.09 40. Excellent time. He was possibly seen as like maybe a fringe first rounder, but definitely a second or third rounder. So that's a perfect time for him. And Mississippi State usually has really good offensive linemen. Just like Gabe Jackson. Justin Jackson, their tight end, 6'3", 235, ran a 4.56, 22 bench reps, 10-foot broad jump, 34-inch vert.
And Sweat met with like 7 teams.
Yeah, Buccaneers, bunch of people. But they had a couple. They had a corner. Chris Rayford, 5'10", 199, ran a 4.49.
Isn't there another Mississippi State defensive lineman too that's draftable?
Jeffrey Simmons, but he tore his ACL.
Oh, I thought he was Texas A&M, but
no, he's Mississippi State.
I get their sorry ass uniforms
It's
mixed
Kingsley
up.
Kiki. No, they're totally different. That's so rude.
The same uniform.
I'm gonna get to Texas Tech though, but yeah. So
they have that
Simmons,
same doo-doo brown, burgundy, purple, red.
I'm mad you said doo-doo brown. Now I just think of
whatever
the players.
Whatever.
I just think of the Players Club. Damn.
Whatever color that is.
But yeah, so Jeffrey Simmons, who was considered a high draft pick, but he wasn't invited to the combine, tore his ACL in training. So we don't get to see how fast he was going to run, but he did do 28 bench press reps at 6'4", 305. He's going to be a steal for somebody. Texas Pro Day. Oh, this is fun because a couple people were all hype about certain Texas players. I'm going to tell you what they did. Charles Ominahu, a defensive end. I probably butchered his last name. I'm sorry. 6 feet, 275. Yeah, I kind of am, but I'm not. But yeah, he played for Texas.
You're sorry because of his culture and his family, not
he's an African dude.
School.
A lot of African names I can't say. Sorry. But Njoku's easy. But no, his is like it's like Ominu or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, 6'6", 275, ran a 5.05 40. I guess that's okay. He's probably going to be a 5 technique. Calvin Anderson, offensive lineman. And my headphones fell off. Ow. He ran a 5.3 340. Yeah, Texas offensive linemen are trash. I've been saying it. One day y'all listen to me. But he did 30 bench press reps, so we'll see. And this dude, Patrick Vahe, 6'3", 325, ran a 5.4, 30 bench press reps. At a tight end, Andrew Beck, 6'3", 255, and a 4.69. It's a deep tight end class. He's not really all that good.
FYI, you're at 7 minutes. Just letting you know.
I'm not. I haven't been talking for 7 minutes.
You've literally been talking
No, I
for
have
7
not.
minutes.
This segment has not gone.
Yeah, it's literally.
No, it
been
hasn't.
It's
It
50.
hasn't.
You start at 51. It's 58.
I didn't start at 51. That's a
You
lie.
literally started at 51.
People will timestamp it and realize that you were talking over.
Okay,
me
go
most of the
ahead.
time. But anyway, Lil Jordan Humphrey, 6'4", 225.
Did you just call a man Lil?
No, his name is literally Lil, like Lil apostrophe Jordan Humphrey. That's what his mama named him.
Swear to
Look
God.
at my phone, dog. I'm not lying. What does that say? It says Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Yo, I can't.
Black people got to stop naming your kids shit that it's just embarrassing. Like, you just giving people reason to laugh
I
at your
don't
kid.
drink no motherfucking Alizé. What bitches do?
I don't smoke crack, motherfucker. I sell it. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, Lil Jordan Humphreys, 6'4", 225. Guess what his 40 time was? He ran a slow 40 at the combine, but guess what his 40 was at his pro day? Some people were saying he was going to be a steal and the Raiders should get him. Guess what his 40 time was?
Gold.
Tell me.
I don't know. Hurry up.
4.78.
You're out of time.
You're at a 4.78, bro. Don't ever talk to me about Texas receivers again. Disgusting. I'm disgusted. But anyway.
All right. Can we move on now?
Yes, we can move on because I'm tired of bum-ass Texas. So, I'm going to talk about Miami's pro day. Their edge rusher, Junior Joe Jackson, ran like a 4.77. Then another D tackle who was All-American. I'm totally spacing out on his name right now. I think he wore number 80. I'm mad because his name is it's escaping me right now, but I'm gonna end up remembering it. But he ran like a 4.8, 4.9 something. They had an All-American D tackle who was a senior and may get first round consideration. And then they had a fullback who played running back sometimes and fullback, and he ran a 4.37 at Miami's pro day, but they never properly utilized him. So he might actually be good at the next level because that's what usually happens with a lot of cats. Oh, by the way, for Texas pro day, they had a running back, Trey Watson, of Corona Centennial fame. I think you remember him, Pete.
Sure. I'm not even listening to you anymore.
Well, he's 5'11". He ran a 4.7, 6.40. Brecklin Hager, 6'3", 255. Ran a
Wait.
What was that? Okay, anyway, Maryland's pro day. Trey Watson, middle linebacker, All-American. 6'2", 236, ran a 4.74. That's pretty much what we kind of guessed his 40 was going to be. But that's a great time for him. And he can play. He's a baller. They had a running back, Ty Johnson, who just took a dump all over Ohio State's defense in that Maryland game that they almost won. Ran a 4.4, 140, 27 bench press reps, 34-inch vert. He's going to get some looks. Byron Cowart, who was the number 1 overall player in the country in high school like 3 years ago. 6'3", 298, ran a 4.9 flat. So that'll be interesting to see where he ends up landing. Memphis' pro day. Tony Pollard, who ran like a 4.53 at the combine, ran a 4.37 at his pro day. Another late round option. Utah State, Darian Thompson, running back who was a junior, played at a JUCO. 28 bench press reps, 39-inch vert, 10'6" broad jump, 5'8", 198, ran a 4.5 flat. They had a running back, Justin Harvey, 5'10", 210, ran a 4.46, 20 bench press reps, 38-inch vert.
You can't even hear the sounds I'm over here just playing.
I can't, but you're an asshole. 'Cause I don't feel like reaching down to get.
You dropped your headphones with your big ass. Hurry up.
Shut up. Aaron Vaughns ran a 4.43. That's the brother of Tyler Vaughns, USC receiver. Texas A&M. They had a fullback, Cullen Gillespie, 6'2", 235, 4.57. They had a DB's trash. Okay, Kingsley Kiki, the defensive lineman you were thinking of, 6'2", 288, had 20 bench press reps. Not really all that impressive. Florida Atlantic had a pro day. said that. You are a bitch, Pete.
Woo!
Unbelievable, man. I'm working with a child. Recap from LSU's pro day. Nobody really ran a fast time. Texas Tech's pro day. Dakota Allen ran a 4.81. Trash. There goes his
50. Don't sue us for that.
Well, you played it, so he's probably gonna have you beaten up. Yeah, let's see. John Bonney, DB 6'1", 205. I don't believe he ran a 4.1, 140. Yeah, I just don't believe it. Kentucky's pro day. Now you want to pay attention to this one, Pete. Lonnie Johnson, 6'2", 210, 4.39, 40. Bunchy Stallings, their third-team All-American guard, 6'2", 324 pounds, ran a 5.34, 24 bench press reps. He could be, he'll probably be like a mid-round pick. Really? What's wrong with you, bro? What? Like, who raised you? Okay, Chris Westry, their DB, 6'4", 199 pounds. And a 4.31.
Now I'm just messing around.
You really are. But like he had a hell of a pro day. 6'4", 200 pounds, running a 4.31, a 38-inch vert. That's crazy. North Carolina. Now this is going to be an interesting one. They had a linebacker, Cole Holcomb, 6'1", 235, ran a 4.48. 22 bench press reps, 6.77 in the 3 cone, and an 11-foot broad jump. Pete, I'm going to fuck you up. I swear. I'm trying to do some reporting here, and you're being very childish. San Diego State's pro day.
Maybe you should have your reporting done before and not just read off a website.
That literally, like, these are the updates. I'm not even going through all my notes, so shut up. But anyway, San Diego State, Fred Trevelyan, random receiver, 6'2", 182, ran a 4.43. Ryan Pope, 6'7", tackle, ran a 5.07. Pete, you're a bitch. Just want you to know that. You're a terrible person. You're even a worse friend. But anyway.
Oh.
That would hurt? That would hurt your feelings? Good. Okay, so Fresno State's pro day. They had a standout Brian Burt, receiver, 5'11", 194.
Yeah, bro. Nobody knows any of these people you're
guess what?
about.
You're going to want to pay attention to them later because they might end up on an NFL team. You're like, damn, Kenneth had all the info on those people. You're welcome. So,
all right, can we move on? There's still like 7 segments I want to get to. We haven't got to half the rundown.
That's your fault. We were honestly talking shit and going, pork belly. It's crazy. But anyway, so.
Pork belly is a hell of a drug. Is that
really
the title of the episode?
Pork belly with a side of bacon? with a side of bread?
The same McDonald's.
Yeah, whatever you said. So Akron's pro day. Ulysses Gilbert, linebacker, 6 feet, 224. Ran a 4.46, 20 bench press reps, 6'9".
Hey, Kenny, nobody cares about your reporting.
Wow. Was that Woo?
He said you don't know. No, he doesn't know anyone you're talking about.
That's cool. Fine. Anyway, 39.5 finished. Vert. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it for pro days.
Wow. It only took you 16 minutes.
First off, it didn't take 16 minutes.
Literally took 16 minutes. I was literally counting you the whole time. You literally went 4 times the amount of time.
No, I didn't.
I said 4 minutes and you went 16.
I didn't, but you could say that, but I didn't.
All right, man. So really quick,
when you prolong my
let's get through these
30 minutes, but it's cool.
You procrastinated it.
I had the list in front of me.
I said, "Do you want to do this?" You're like, "No, let's do that first." And I was like, "Okay."
because the show needed some lighthearted. We needed to talk about some fun
stuff.
All
right, so real quick, let's do take or tangent with these like 3 stories. Okay. But literally, give me a 2-sentence take or a 2-second tangent. Like, don't go beyond that.
Okay is longer than 2 seconds, so I have to give you whatever. All right, fine. Let's do it. Go for it.
All right, first up. Robert Kraft, Commissioner Goodell came out this week and basically said Robert Kraft would be subject to the personal conduct policy, which could ultimately lead to some sort of discipline, including a suspension. So, do you got a take or a tangent on Robert Kraft?
I don't care either way. All he did was pay $100 for a hand job, and it wasn't apparently even like the best hand job. So relax.
Wow. So the quality of a hand job determines whether or
First
not
off, no,
these
like
sex trafficking
it came out that the
victims
people,
get their justice.
it came out that the people who he actually had the sex act with, they weren't big sex traffickers. No, like seriously.
They were just slummy managers.
No, like they were just there, like giving them a handy. Like they were actually like they were there of their own free will.
They were workers.
Yeah, they're actual sex workers. So there was no crime there. He was just getting a handy. And he paid $100 and he got caught.
What do you mean? Prostitution's still illegal? Well, it might be legal in Florida.
In
It
certain
might be
states,
legal in
it's
Florida.
not.
It might be legal in Florida. Who knows?
I mean,
Florida's weird. Florida's a weird place. It makes no sense. Florida
Flor-
makes no sense.
That's not the only place that makes no sense. But anyway,
I'm gonna tell you.
I mean, Cardi B used to drug and rob people, but technically, since they were in the middle of something,
I'm gonna give you a
out.
tangent on it, and here's what it is. So,
Bleeding Heart Pete liberal. Let's go.
anytime an NFL player is in the news and there's issues and there's things that go against the shield, does Roger Goodell ever come out and say, well, we're going to wait for the facts to make our decision on whether or not we discipline him?
I'm going to stop you right there. You do realize that Robert Kraft is Roger Goodell's boss, right?
He's one of 32 bosses.
So, yeah. So that's your boss.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is,
That's a conflict of interest.
don't
That's your boss.
talk about how you're going to wait for the facts to come out, because according to that policy, you don't need to wait for any criminal charges to be brought about. Just the accusation itself, which tarnishes the shield, is enough for you to suspend them. So guess what?
Like
Goodell.
what they did to Pac-Man Jones, Adam Jones.
Exactly. Make your move, man. You out here playing.
They already did. They already discussed in that brunch, probably. They
Yeah, and
They
exactly.
went back to the same massage parlor. They probably ate at they probably ate at a restaurant in that same
in
plaza.
Arizona, same owners. Those people actually did own a lot of masseuse parlors across state lines.
There you
It's
go.
part of it.
Which technically, I mean, if you want to drag it out and make a case of it, you could say something about the Mann Act, but whatever.
All right. Next one I want to talk about. So, as we've been talking about over the past few weeks, Josh Rosen may or may not be on the market. The Arizona Cardinals are supposedly looking for a first-round pick so that they can take Kyler with the number 1. Some teams that are rumored to be interested in Rosen himself include the Patriots, the Giants, and the Chargers. So, do you got to take or a tangent on those teams trying to get a quarterback?
You should trade to the Patriots. They should trade him to the Patriots, get their first-round pick and all their mid-round picks.
That's actually not a bad move for either team.
Get him out
involved.
of the AFC or out
I
of
mean,
the
it's
NFC.
really like a second-round pick, but it's technically a first-round pick. So the value's there for both teams. Like, the Cardinals get to check off the box, but the Patriots are getting the value. Really,
And it's like we get a bunch of picks in the mid-rounds, and now the clock will be ticking on.
and
Tom
somehow
Brady.
the Patriots will not play Rosen for 2 years and still flip him into a top 10 pick in 2 years. And we're gonna be sitting looking at each other like,
I feel bad for Josh Rosen because he's a really great QB, great talent.
Other news.
He doesn't get killed in the media like he gets killed in the media the way Nick Bosa should be getting slandered for it, but whatever.
So, in AB news, there was a whole situation where basically Jimmy Butler and Antonio Brown went one-on-one, and Jimmy Butler lost a $30,000 bet to saying he could lock down AB in the red zone with Russell Wilson at QB. So, do you got to take a tangent on that?
Basketball players really got to stop acting like they got the functional athleticism to play football because you don't.
Because
Like
you
that
probably
physical-
went out for football junior year and your basketball coach made you decide,
Got
and you
clapped.
decided to play you got clapped and we're like, yeah, I'm just going to go back to AAU.
I can't play corner, and then I almost cried because the receiver coach yelled at me. Because I ran all my routes the same way, even though one was supposed to be a streak, one was supposed to be a corner, one was supposed to be a slant. I ran them all the same way.
Now the worst one is, yeah, but I had that 60-yard run, but yeah, you could literally, you had no vision. Like you literally had no vision.
You ran right into the contact when you could have like ran away from everyone. Like we had this dude on our team. I'm gonna say his name. No, I'm not gonna say his name. Fuck that guy. But he was like a really good basketball player for our team. But they said he ran a 4.39, which I don't believe till this day. But he was like 6'5", 230, freak athlete. You would seem like, oh, he's gonna be great at defensive end, but he didn't work hard. He wasn't good. Couldn't tackle. He was just big and fast for no reason. I played football and he was trash. But he was a good basketball player. Didn't do anything else with it though.
And the last one I wanted to bring up, or actually two more. So Cliff Kingsbury, the Sean McVay appropriation that's going on in the NFL. Kingsbury, who is a noted millennial, is basically instituting a new policy where his meeting structure is going to include 15-minute breaks for napping as well as 15-minute breaks for cell phones. He's gotten a lot of shit on social media, especially from old-ass journalists, basically saying this is a fallout of America. So, KB, do you got a take or a tangent on cell phone time for NFL players?
The only fallout in America when it comes to that, getting out in the media and millennials, is that those old-ass journalists didn't create any type of environment for young millennials to actually, capitalize on the journalism that they do today. So, boo.
But it's not even just journalism. I think you can make that case really
media.
in most industries, not even just media.
The older generation failed us. That's what I'm really saying. So old people, shut up. No one cares what you really
I think it's part of that, but I also think it's part of just the new generation being so empowered with a lot of, open source, freelance, whatever, gig economy, whatever you want to.
We get information so quickly.
We get information so quickly, and we're so optimized, and we have so many skills, and we want to be empowered.
We don't need to sit around.
We don't want to be told to stay in our line.
We don't need to sit around for 3 hours and talk like the old dudes from the Clear Eyes commercials.
Yeah, and that's
I don't need to study film that way in 2019.
And I just read an article about this, about how a lot of millennials are quitting their jobs, even if they don't want to. Even millennials who get jobs right out of college, who work a few years, work their way up to what would be considered a good job, good pay, good salary, good benefits, good work flexibility, and they're quitting because they're miserable. And this kind of goes to the root of that. Like I was saying, it's because millennials were a different culture in that we want to be empowered. We're used to having so many options, so many choices about, and making the best selection based not just on any category. It's about value and holistic value. So I think Kingsbury instituting even this little policy is really just empowering his players, giving his players some freedom and some power so that they don't need to be checking their phone under the table during meetings, so that they're not thinking about what's going on their phone because they have to turn their phone in when they go into a meeting or whatever. Point is, like,
he's making it at least somewhat.
They're grown men, like,
yeah,
they're grown men. Like,
it's not a classroom, bro. Like, treat it like a meritocracy.
Even that, bro, and I have a problem with that too. I always had a problem with that. I'm paying for school, man. In college, if I want to be on my phone and watch videos, that's my problem. Like, for real.
But
people need to get over themselves.
Now, while the teacher's teaching in the front of the class, Pete.
You know I was that guy.
You were that guy.
You know I was that guy.
You be laughing at shit on your laptop.
You know I was that guy.
When the teacher was like, hold on, let's take a 5-minute break, guys.
Yeah, I was that guy.
And then you wouldn't turn it off.
But I still had the fucking answers, right? I still got to be on the test. So what's up, teach? Yeah, exactly.
Even though you probably should have got an A, but she knocked your grade.
For real.
Because they didn't like your personality.
Yeah, no, that was a real situation.
Yeah, tell me about it. Yep, that happens.
All right, last one.
Education is indoctrination, but hey, whatever.
Last one. Last one. So, Mark Davis.
Why do you pick a Raiders one?
All right, you don't want to do the Raiders one then?
No, you already did it. Let's just do it.
Mark Davis basically said Hard Knocks would be a distraction for the Raiders and that he doesn't want to do it. So you got to take our attention on that.
Kind of like Vegas is a distraction.
Kind
of like having sex with the person that you cheated on with your ex, but you still stay with your ex because you need somewhere to live and you need help on the rent too.
Yeah, I don't really need to say much else than that.
On the
The
next
Raiders
episode
are
of Steve
distractions.
Wilkos,
I don't know. I think you forgot the whole hiring a media coach hiring a
Trading.
media GM
trading Khalil Mack,
or trading your best players or trading for AB, which, by the way,
slandering Khalil Mack in the media, saying that our defense was bad with him, not cutting Seth Roberts.
which I'll get to in my rant. All right, so do you want to end on another one since you don't want to end on the Raiders?
Another one.
The Rams are not
Ramley.
actively seeking an extension for Jared Goff. Sean McVay shot it down at the owners' meeting, basically saying, he doesn't have any further update on it, and he's not going to have a further update on it. So just leave him alone on it.
Didn't they have the same thing about Marcus Peters too, or is that like what they're actually trying?
Yeah,
to do on the low.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're extending it, either of them. But the reason why Goff is the issue is because the Eagles are actively negotiating with Wentz, despite the fact that he's ended the last 2 seasons on injured reserve. So you have a take or a tangent on Goff and the Rams not working on a long-term future.
Get your money, dog. If you don't negotiate, then you just have to match the price that the Eagles do. But then the Eagles might overpay. But then you could be more rational once you have a ceiling.
Yeah, we'll see.
Like, Goff's best season is nowhere near as good as Wentz's best season.
Well, right now the
Technically speaking.
Rams have all the leverage because they can still franchise tag him, and
Exactly.
he still has I think 2 years, and then a franchise.
He's
tag.
had, what, 1 good year? 2 good years?
2 good years.
And it only got good because McVay was there. So one might say he is a product of the coaching that he got. Because he damn sure didn't do anything in that Super Bowl. At least Carson Wentz has the ability to say, you haven't seen me at my best. You didn't see me in the Super Bowl. So you don't know what I would do if I got there. But I was the reason that team was good when they went to the Super Bowl. I just got injured and didn't get to finish my season. So therefore, you have to pay Carson Wentz just on the strength because you're in it. You're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. But with Goff, Goff kind of has no leverage in the situation. Played terribly in that game.
I know I've said the last one like the past 8 times, but since
on that pass interference,
we might as well go around everything. So the 49ers are rumored to give up a home game to play a world game in China in 2020.
That's nasty.
You got to take her tangent on that?
That's nasty, bro. No one should be trying to play in China. First off, if we break down just the human rights errors and probably child laws and labor laws that are going to get broken and getting people prepared for a stadium in China. Bro, there's literally like Vice documentaries, HBO documentaries on like condominium towns that are empty because a lot of Chinese people can't afford to live there. There's just a bunch of shit there in real estate, really nice stuff, but nobody can afford to live there. Like they overproduce and the quality ain't all that great. I really want to mix it up with China. That's not a good look. Especially with who's in office.
Well, I think when you look at the NFL, obviously they have an interest in it because it's the most or second most populated country. So they want to grow the game there.
Name the last great Chinese NFL player.
That's where I was going to take it because
it's not the NBA. It don't work like that. NBA, they can do that.
Because on that same note, like there's been a lot of talk about basically how Yao Ming really kind of opened up the borders for Chinese players. And since Yao Ming, there's been a lot more basketball in China. The game's grown a lot in terms of actually playing it. And so the NFL kind of needs to get that sort of influence before they kind of expand the game that way, but at the same time, you'll never get that until you put the product in that country and allow kids to see it and want to pick it up. And further, I mean, on your note,
some countries you're never
at first I agree with what you said, but now I thought about it. Nike, Adidas, and Reebok.
Oh no, money issue. I'm not
That's
arguing.
what I'm saying.
But I'm talking about the strength of talent.
But I'm just saying, like,
5 of the greatest Chinese football players of all time.
No, but you're saying not to mix, you know, the NFL's commercialism with the human rights issues going on in China. But I'm saying that's already been
the Patriots
mixed
and the Niners playing
via
in China.
Nike.
But I'm saying the Patriots and the Niners play in China. There's political strife in that regard. That's what I'm saying. Like, why would you pick China? You could pick
because
other
it's
countries.
really populated. It's really the
I
only
get
reason.
that, but it's overpopulated.
It's really the only reason.
But it's overpopulated. And it's like, again, name me the 5 greatest Chinese players of all time. That's not a sport that Chinese people play or care about. Like,
That's why they're.
I would rather go
That's
watch.
why they're trying to bring the game there to make that happen.
Okay, bro. You got a black dude from the inner city and a Chinese kid who just happens to live in the inner city to play football. Who you picking first? Blind test. Who you picking first?
Patrick Chung.
Patrick. First off, Taylor Rapp. That's bullshit. Okay. First off, he's blacker than he is Asian. So there you go. Try that over.
Wait, really, Kenny?
You're honestly gonna tell?
Are we really doing this right now?
Kyler Murray is a small part Korean, but I'm telling you, he's not.
Are you 23 at me now? Are you weighing out people's racial identities? Like, is that what you're really doing now? you're measuring blackness now. Huh? Okay, blackness police over here.
First off,
Asianness.
You realize, like, literally, black is a dominant gene. Like, if 2 Chinese people can't have a baby and the baby comes out my complexion.
Oh my God.
Let's not be stupid. Let's not be stupid. But 2 black people can get together and create an albino child.
Yeah.
A child with
Full of
albinoism. First off, dog, we're just not. Some countries don't produce certain athletes in certain sports.
Yeah, listen to the universe.
Oh my God.
The universe is telling you to shut up.
It's hot in this room.
Yeah.
Why is the AC off? But no, seriously, like, that's like saying, oh, NHL's going to market to inner city kids for hockey. No, they're not.
That makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense.
It does, but they're not going to do it. That's not their demographic.
It's the chicken before the egg. It's like,
no, it's not. That's just
it's
not
the chicken before the egg because, like, yeah, it's
you know
not
what
the
it is?
demographic.
It's
but
a turducken. That's what it
you're
is.
never gonna reach that demographic
It's a turducken.
unless you give them a product. So,
bro, it's a turducken.
it's the chicken before the egg. All right,
Okay, we could just break it
Last
down.
one.
We could go talk about the Olympics.
last one.
Certain athletes come from certain countries because of certain circumstances in those countries and DNA and history and all that.
So
shit.
what you're saying is people are too poor in China to play football.
I'm saying name
you
the
could
most
just
athletic,
say that.
Name the
You
most
could
athletic
say
dude
that.
in China. And
You could say that. You could
that-
just say that.
he's an athletic dude, but not in football. That's what I'm saying. Like you
don't have to be an athletic dude in football.
Okay,
You could find
you're
a
missing-
6'7" dude in China who can move
who can play
a little
wide
bit,
receiver,
who can
right
move
now?
a little bit and play tackle.
Okay, bro. That dude out of Germany, Matt Beringer, the guy, you remember him? Or Mitch, he played for the Vikings. He had a pro day. He ran like a 4.39. He's a tight end now. Because he couldn't cut it at receiver. Bro, like, that's hard to play. Like, you could be an athlete. You have to be. What I'm saying is.
All right, can we move on now?
It doesn't. Okay, like, you could get a black dude to try hockey, but he's never played hockey. Culturally, it doesn't fit. It just
That's
doesn't.
not true. I know black people who play hockey.
Okay, there are black people who play hockey. PK Subban. You're missing my point. There are people who play hockey, but I'm saying.
I don't even think you know your point.
What I'm saying is, like, I'm kind of saying your point a little bit.
Yeah,
Pretty
you're
much,
just dancing around it.
like you would need to do that for like 30 years to see like a sample size.
Like, you got to start at some point.
Yeah, but starting it and then expecting immediate success, it's like the AAF. That's
nah,
what
hell no.
they want to.
They're not going to expect
What's the goal?
success.
What's the goal of them doing that in China? Making money or actually developing
No,
long-term
it's not
relationships?
making money. It's definitely not making money.
Are you sure?
because
China makes money. good or bad.
I don't know if they're going
Their
to be able
eyes on that game.
I don't know if they're going to be able to pack 20,000.
They'll get a bunch of Asian kids and put flag football stuff on them and say,
Which is going to be free. They're going to give those away. That's not going to make their money.
Exactly. But I'm saying, how many?
All right, bro. Can we move on?
Bro, some sports just don't work in certain countries.
I don't believe that, but okay.
Okay.
Fine.
Fine.
Last one. Keep it on the West Coast. The Seahawks are working on an extension for Bobby Wagner. Is that you got a take or a tangent on that?
It's their only choice. If they don't, then they're ruined. He's putting together a Hall
This
of Fame
man's about
career.
to be 30 years old. He's missed the past 2 seasons with injury.
Wow.
They got like 7 linebackers.
The Raiders passed on him, by the way.
Time to move on.
The Raiders
That's
passed
my
on him.
tangent.
The Raiders passed on him. He's
All
actually
right.
still good.
Go ahead. You want to go first with the rants, or you want me to go first?
You got the juice? You can go first.
You sure about this?
Yeah, you can go first.
No, you go first
get
because
off
you're
what you
gonna
gotta
you're
say.
gonna you're gonna chase what I say.
I'm not, but fine, whatever. You just want to go last. Oh wait, so am I going or are you going? All right, I guess I'm going. All right, man. I just want to give a shout out, and Pete, I'm gonna need you to hit the applause button. Shout out to all you working class people. Especially if you have to work with people and stupid people who are like your managers or bosses. Like, that's a generational thing. Especially now more than ever, I think. Where like young people really just don't want to tolerate that shit. We're already working more jobs and have switched more careers than our parents ever had to, or ever have, or ever did. Like, we're already locked in a permanent state of job insecurity. Permanent. Notice I said permanent. Permanent state of job insecurity. Check it out. Millennials. That's us. Like, we're stuck. That's why you got so many people working all these jobs with degrees, this, that, and the third, trying to figure things out, having no time for friends, family, always stressed out, and you wonder why people snap. So I just want to give some love to the millennials out there, because a lot of people shit on us, but most of those people didn't pass down any of the power, wealth, and resources that they had. They squandered it and then looked at us like, oh, well, you just got to work hard. But that's why you're dying with a bunch of debt that I'm going to have to pay for, and I got to take care of you. And why you'll get Social Security, but my kids won't, and I damn sure won't. I just personally, I have a beef with the older generation because I really feel like a lot of them didn't build anything for us. They just, it's back to the whole gatekeeper argument. A lot of them, and a lot of these companies, they have this mindset that we're the generation that they're going to sacrifice. Like, we're going to sacrifice this generation so we can hold on to our old trinkets that still mean something. When a lot of us out here who are young, we're actually moving from a place of creativity and entrepreneurship, whether we realize it or not, even if it's on a small level, even if it's something you want to do. And it's sad that a lot of people I know literally will just tell, like, they'll be like, yo, this is my dream, this is what I kind of want to do. And they just knowingly let their dreams die in their 20s because they got to go to work. They can't chase what they want to chase because the odds are just too stacked against them for whatever reason. And that's why, it's been a long-ass week for me. I'm dead-ass tired, but I'm 6 weeks away from graduating CSUN. And I think about all the hell and all the horrible shit I went through in school and out. I think about all the things I went through just to get to this point.
Technically 6 months, but have your moment.
First off,
Have your moment, King.
shut up. You didn't have to say shit, Pete. I swear. That's why It's cool. That's why you're gonna have buttons when you're older. You bitch.
Older.
That's nasty.
Shit's right now.
That's gross. That's disturbing. Toe Jam Cracker. Yeah, go watch House Party. You'll remember the scene. But anyway, yeah, man. Shout out to young people.
All right, man. Your rant's already been going 5 minutes, dude.
I know. I just want to say that. Shout out to young people who are actually out here working, honestly, probably harder than some of our parents and some of the older people who shit on you and say you're not doing good enough and act like they have this holier than thou attitude towards you. Chances are they weren't smart enough to actually exist. If they had to start over in our time period, they couldn't do it. So be proud of who you are and what you're doing if you're working. But if you're out here being a piece of shit, you need to stop. Oh, and yeah, Pete was right. Chicken on pizza is trash. I've seen the light.
Hey, turn up. We're getting wins out here. So I guess I don't need to address the chicken on pizza topic since you already did that so gracefully for me. Because I got a lot of shit I want to talk about, so buckle up. Here we go. Where should I start?
Your hairline.
Shut up. First of all, man, I got to talk about one of my favorite subjects from my rants every single damn week, and that is Mr. Jon Gruden. This dude really gonna sit in a press conference or an interview. I think it was an interview. I don't know. Whatever. And tell somebody, a reporter, the media, anybody, that he really sat in a dark room and cried for 3 days, listening to Juice WRLD, crying over Khalil Mack getting traded. Are you fucking kidding me, man? Jon Gruden, you did not have that same energy, 6 months ago? When you traded literally the franchise's greatest draft pick of all time. You traded him for 2 first-round picks.
2 and a possible.
And so you're really going to sit here and say you cried about it? Because last time I checked, you were talking about how sorry the Raiders defense was with him. Last time I checked, you were talking about how he didn't really want to be a Raider. And last time I checked, you were telling me about how he didn't even want to play for you. So which one is it? You think I'm stupid and I don't remember and fans don't remember? Or are you trolling us? Because I really don't even know anymore. Like, I don't know. Are you out of touch? Are you fucking around? Like, what's really good? Because none of it makes sense. And on the same note or a similar note, everybody talking about Antonio Brown. There was a Bleacher Report article, I don't remember who it was by, but basically saying owners are kind of worried about the precedent that Antonio Brown set by essentially forcing his way out of Pittsburgh and stuff like that. But as Kenny's talked about, let's talk about the precedent that the Pittsburgh Steelers have set by continuously enabling Big Ben Roethlisberger, 1.
Rapist.
2,
Allegedly.
not paying their star players as they should and not renegotiating before their contracts expire. And, well, lastly, getting rid of their best receiver because, well, they did it with Santonio Holmes and Mike Wallace and Plaxico Burress. This is what they do. They don't pay their receivers. Well, finally, the grand finale, the moment everyone's been waiting for. I, Pete Camarillo, am a self-admitted big baller brand, Lonzo Ball, Jello Ball, Melo Ball, LeVar Ball, Tina Ball stan. And they've been in the news a lot the past couple of weeks for basically one of their handlers, one of their business partners, a family friend, whatever his title is, depending on what the source is, essentially being a partner in Big Baller Brand, owning 16%, having the same amount as both of Lonzo's parents and using that to take at least $1 million of Lonzo's professional and brand associated money. And so the reaction to that has essentially been Lonzo, quote unquote, becoming his own man and distancing himself from LeVar Ball and not wearing Big Baller brand and covering up his tattoo and all this sort of stuff. And I get it, man. 1.3 million is probably more money than I'll ever see, and so I can't express how I would feel if somebody stole that money from me, especially someone who I'm supposed to trust, who's in my family circle, especially someone who's close to my dad, who basically, you know, Lonzo and LeVar, like, they have a relationship, and I'm pretty sure their relationship is going through shit right now, just based off the fact that this is someone who LeVar opened the door for, and LeVar kind of was like, let's pump the brakes and let's see what's really going on. And it wasn't until LeVar got back from his travels handling Melo and Jello, and he was like, Lonzo, you're right. We do need to get this dude the fuck out of here. But to my point, and what I was going to say is, I get why Lonzo's mad, for sure, 100%. I get it's putting a lot of strain on the family, all that sort of stuff. But honestly, this is going to be a 19-year-old mistake. Ending Big Baller brand right now is a mistake. Because not only did they open up a lot of doors, pave a lot of ways, and essentially show athletes that you can start your own brand, you can go your own way, but they were successful at it. Like, they made money. The issue wasn't that they didn't make money. Like, they made a grip of money. They're selling product at 5 times the value. They're not even shelving product. They're going direct to consumer. They don't have stores. All they do is pop-ups. Like, and they made a shit ton of money, and all their social accounts have hundreds of thousands and millions of followers. Like, that alone is worth money. Like, keep that and figure out something to do with it. I get it. It was a failure, but you hear these tech companies talk about failing up, and it's okay to fail. You take the lessons. Guess what? Lonzo, if you keep your career trajectory going how it's supposed to go, that 1.3 million is not going to be a lot of money for you. And if you can find a way to maintain the Big Baller brand, you should, because not only are you paving ways, but you can continue to make a lot of money and continue to make your own clout and continue to be a huge influence. Like, letting this die is not only letting your dream die, but it's making a lot of other dreams die, because a lot of consumers are going to be like, I don't really believe in Zion's brand, because remember when Lonzo started that brand? Or Zion, or all these guys ahead of Zion are going to be like, I'm not going to start my own brand. That didn't work out for Lonzo, and Lonzo had like 3 people it was banking on. So if I'm the Ball family and if I'm advising them, what I would say is, through all this, yes, this is bad PR. Yes, we handled this bad. But we're stronger now as a brand. We're stronger as a family. We got someone who actually knows how to run this business and who's going to run it correctly. And we're going to get it together. And you figure out a way to, even if he doesn't like the shoes anymore, work with the mainstream brands. Like, do BBB Adidas collabs. Do BBB Nike collabs. Keep the luxury and the exclusive element and just double down on the family. Like, I don't think the brand should die just because of this whole controversy, because honestly, like, people got to remember when this thing launched, like, everyone was trying to get a piece of it. There were so many athletes trying to buy into it. They were talking about athletes potentially signing with Big Baller brand. They set up a whole amateur league. Like, they did a lot of shit, and just to see it die is really a travesty to me, especially as a Ball stan. So that's it for me. This is Touchdowns and Tangents. We thank you, as always, for listening to us. If you can do one thing to support this show, what should they do, Kenny?
Critique us, rate us on iTunes or any app, any platform you listen to.
Speaker, Spotify, Podbean,
Anchor,
Stitcher, all the above.
Google Play
Radio
or whatever.
Public.
Even Twitter, like whatever. Just
Whatever you're listening to, go ahead and just give us a rating. Tell us what you think. If you don't like it, tell us why, and we'll try to fix it. If you do, we'll make it better. But yeah, on that note, I'm at Pete Certified.
I'm at Ozo Grande, OZO Grande.
And you can interact with us there on Twitter, as well as TDs_tangents. That's the joint account. Stay tuned. A lot of big things still coming up under the way.
NFL draft is like literally
A month. Literally a month away.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll have some to announce at that around that time.
In a couple weeks, maybe. Who knows?
But yeah, man, touchdowns and tangents from the Good News radio station. Signing out. Shout out to X Squad affiliates. Shout out to FBC Radio. Shout out to your favorite podcast station. And shout out to the networks we haven't signed with yet.
Black Panther would beat the shit out of Batman in a fight. And Killmonger would beat both of them. There, I said it.
I don't know why the music's not playing.
Well, this is awkward.